21, it's probably a very similar situation to Essex, where they went to their last 5 games in the group. They had to win every single one, so you could arguably say they were slightly worse off than they are where they are now. They actually won all 5, but then they went into the 5th against Glamorgan at our place. Not only did they have to win it, but they had to win it, really well, because the run rate was poor, and they chased 180 down in 13 overs, and it was an amazing game because everybody knew on the ground. Once Glamorgan got 180, we were all thinking, "Oh God, that's it. That really is it." What a great turnaround. But now it's all come, crashing down, and they went and absolutely smashed it every ball. It was an incredible game. Sometimes that makes sides actually just go out there and play anyway. So the situation dictated the way they needed to play in the second half of the tournament and in that last game, and Hampshire responded. Now they've got to do something similar going into this. Now, can you keep doing that? In 2022 they won their last 5 when they actually won the competition in the group, and in last year they won 4 of their last 5 to get through. So can they keep sort of being right on the edge, on the precipice, and still keep coming back? Law of averages says you can't keep doing that.
It was a strange game down at the Utilita, wasn't it? Because Hampshire finished actually 177 for 3. They lost by 7 runs, and they very nearly pulled it out of the bag in that final over from Danny Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, the one game they talk about this season, amongst a few, because they've not performed the way they should, was that actual game. I mean, lose 3 wickets and yet you still come short of 7 runs.
Yeah.
There's something wrong there, isn't it? As well as Joe Weatherly played, as well as James Vince played on the night. You don't be 3 down, 7 runs short. There's something a little bit wrong there. So again, that's indicative of just Hampshire's just not clicking. I thought Sussex actually batted really well that night. Tom Alsop against his former county, 40 odd, played really nicely. But yeah, there's small margins in T20, isn't it? I mean, you guys have found, you found a formula, up top. Daniel Hughes especially.
He's been terrific.
Yeah.
What 354 runs? He's the 3rd highest run scorer in the competition.
You found something that you probably weren't expecting him to do.
No, totally.
But that's what this competition's all about. It's players playing. Well, he might say he's playing to his potential, but some would say, well, actually we don't know you that well. Actually, we think you're giving us better value than actually we thought you would. So this competition, that's what this competition's all about. And when you find a formula, whether it's one person or 2 people, then that's that extra 1 or 2% that makes all the difference.
You're listening to live cricket on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Solent. Adrian Harms and Kevin Janes. The lights are on at Hove. Lots of blue sky. I haven't seen much at blue sky recently, Kev. The sun was out as well. And we're going to start on time. There was a deluge down here last night for the Women's International, but the outfield looks terrific. And if you're just joining us, the news in the middle is that Hampshire have won the toss and they are going to bowl first. That game down in Southampton, Kevin, I remember Liam Dawson, there was a bit of doubt whether he was going to play or not. I think he'd been unwell the night before with, he's so important for Hampshire in these games, a fit Liam Dawson.
Yeah, that's right. He was, he missed... Did he miss that game? Oh, yeah, he came back, didn't he?
He did, You didn't think he was going to play.
That's right. He didn't play the day before at Chelmsford. And because they missed him so much, that a 75% fit Liam Dawson is still worth being in the side, and I think he bowled quite well. I think I'm just trying to look actually how he did. He got 1 for 25 from his 4 overs. If you've got a bowler that you can rely on who's just going in the 20s, and only once has he gone for more than that, and that was 47 against Somerset and Taunton when we got absolutely annihilated. But all the time he's going for 20 or even less on a couple of occasions. If you've got one of your bowlers you can guarantee to give you a return like that, then if 1 or 2 of the other bowlers are a little bit more expensive, then it's not the end of the world. But Nathan Ellis used to back Dawson up, and even Chris Wood at the moment. They're all, I say, most of the players, whether they're with the bat or ball, that I think there's very few players in the Hampshire side that can say, do you know what, I'm having a better year this year than I did last. Probably Joe Weatherly, probably Toby Albert, whose strike rates are up this year, about the only 2 from the batting point of view.
Well, the players have come out of the pavilion. Hampshire in their yellow shirts. Are they navy blue trousers, Kevin, or black?
No, they're more blue.
Yeah,
the sort of the Hampshire royal blue. Yeah.
Sussex in their royal blue shirts with Harrison Ward and Daniel Hughes, the opening pair. The umpires tonight are Ben Debenham and the former Worcestershire bowler Jack Shantry. Good to see Jack out in the middle, who just waves to the scorers. And will be underway shortly in a game which is an important game. If Hampshire were to lose tonight, they're not out of it, but it's going to be mighty difficult to qualify, so it's a big game for Hampshire tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they're 4 points off the top four.
Yeah.
Essex have got 11 points, Hampshire have got 7. So it's not the end of the world, but you don't want that sort of gap as you get down to the last 2 or 3.
No, you don't. You don't. Well, it's going to be Wood who's going to open up from the C end of the ground, running away from us. He's in and bowls to Harrison Ward, who first ball is beaten outside of the off stump. Convincingly beaten as well. Good carry as well through to McDermott behind the stumps. And there is a dot ball to get us underway. As you would imagine, it's not a big crowd here tonight, with the football being on, so probably the ground, I don't know, probably about a quarter full. But the sun is out, and we're underway as Chris Wood, left arm seamer, runs away from us up the hill from the C end. He's in and bowls to Ward, who crunches this one away through point for 4 runs. A little too short there from Chris Wood, and Harrison Ward very quick to latch onto that and belt the ball through backward point for the first boundary of the evening. Sussex 4 without loss.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of swing there for Wood, so it was a little bit further away from Ward than perhaps he expected it to be, but that's catchable height, and yet it's found the gap. You know, there are 3 fielders on the offside, and yet somehow it's threaded through them.
Wood in again, bowl short, pulled away by Ward onto the leg side. He didn't get all of that, and the ball dribbles out to the fielder on the deep mid-wicket boundary, and it's another run to Harrison Ward. He goes to 5, and the Sharks 5 without loss in the opening over.
So Harrison Ward plays white ball contract, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Sussex.
Yeah, he does. Just a T20 contract.
Yeah. Doesn't play for anybody else, though, does he?
No. A couple of Sussex players will be playing in the 100 for the Southern Brave. So Tom Alsop and James Coles. In comes Wood, bowls, and driven by Daniel Hughes into the covers. There is no run. Daniel Hughes, the Australian, his first season here at Hove, and as Kevin was saying, he's made quite an impression. 354 runs. He's the 3rd highest run scorer in the competition.
His strike rate this year, 177. That's absolutely huge.
Yeah, it is.
For an opening batter, it's huge. So sometimes down the order when they're coming in for a couple of balls, but...
In comes Wood, bowls, and he beats Hughes outside of the off stump, taken by McDermott. Good opening over this from Chris Wood.
Yeah, a bit of swing. I think sometimes Chris Wood's suffered from not actually getting the ball to come off the straight on a few occasions this year. He used to have a nice natural swing for at least 2 or 3 overs of the white ball, because we all know that it goes pretty soft and gets scuffed up quickly, but tonight much better.
There's a slip in place. The 2 fielders outside of the 30-yard circle are at 3rd man and deep mid-wicket as Wood is in bowls, and for the 2nd time in the over he beats Daniel Hughes outside of the off stump, and that's a good opening over by Chris Wood. Hampshire winning the toss, deciding to bowl first. At the end of the opening over, the Sharks are 5 without loss, all 5 runs to Harrison Ward.
Well, that's interesting, because if that opening over is indicative of what we might see for a few overs here, there's a bit in it for the bowlers here, isn't there? Nice carry, as you said earlier, with a little bit of extra grass there, probably because of all the weather we've had. There's a bit of moisture around in the wicket anyway, but that's interesting first over. That's, I mean, you said Tamil Mills was going to bat anyway?
That's what he said. Yeah, wow. That's what he said in his interview. Yeah, he said so. His words were, "Everybody's happy."
I mean, for me, if you know, a bowler, all a bowler has to do at the moment is just bowl line and length, and there's enough there. Looks like John Turner. Oh no, it's going to be Brad Will from the far end, Cromwell Road end, and he's over the wicket. That's hammered away wide of mid-on by Harrison Ward, and that's hammered away for 4 runs.
I think with Harrison Ward this season in the T20, it's sort of been all or nothing, really, Kevin. He either gets on his way and he makes a very quick 30 or 40, or it's all over very quickly. But he's particularly effective in the power play, and I think he's almost got licence to play in that way.
Playing his 33rd T20 match for Sussex tonight. I think the field's just changed. A couple of players sort of moved a few yards, I think, no more. Here's Brad Wheel again. Ward drives hard through point for 4. Just threw the bat at that one. Little bit of width, maybe, from Brad Wheel. Just to watch that on the replay. We're not quite in line.
You're right, though. There's that ring of fielders on the offside, and again, it just managed to bisect those fielders. You could say it's good placement by Harrison Ward, but.
Well, that was well hit. I mean, that's half a yard either side of a play, and that's going for 4, isn't it? It was just the one in the first over. It's just, it was mishit a little bit, and catchable height all the way, really. Wheel bowls again, driven on the up, but not timed this time by Ward. And it goes out to Benny Howell at extra cover. So there is a bit of pace in this wicket. That's for sure. Batters obviously love hitting through the line, but maybe not so much movement here for Brad Wheel at the moment. Saw a bit more from Wood. Mind you, Wood was more in the air, although the last one bounced a bit.
I think you've got those 2 men back on the leg side now, Kevin.
Yeah. He's wheeled down the hill again then. And bowls, and Ward drives in the air, and it's just over mid-off. Just over Liam Dawson. Well, he's going for the shots, as we knew he would.
Yeah.
He doesn't hold back, does he, as you said?
Yeah, particularly during this power play, I think this is where they see very much Harrison Ward's strength. And sometimes you come off, sometimes you don't. And so far today, was he 17 off 7 with 4 boundaries?
Well, both these openers striking at 170 plus this season. They are, I think that says it all. They're not going to be too many dot balls, that's for sure. Coming round the wicket now, Brad Wheel. Total moves on to 17 without loss in the second over. Wheel into Ward, who's on 17 currently, and playing a missing. Playing a missing outside the off stump. Length ball from Brad Wheel, who was at the World Cup, T20 World Cup, just a few weeks ago. He returned, unlike Jofra Archer. Yeah,
that's right. Brad Curry, the brother of Scott Curry, who was he's on loan to Leicestershire.
He's on loan to Leicester.
Yeah, also played in the World Cup for Scotland. He's back, but I understand he might have an injury, Brad, which is why he's not figuring at the moment.
Do you remember that catch of his here last year?
Yeah.
Wow. Still haven't seen anything better. As that's just played quietly this time to backward a point, all along the ground, fielded by Joe Weatherly. So 2 overs done. Hampshire, having won the toss, selected to bowl first. Have Sussex 17 without loss, or Sussex, I should say, are 17 without loss.
Good into the over, really, Kevin, because when you've gone for 3 boundaries and then all of a sudden a couple of dot balls to end the over, I think James Vince will be pleased about that. Just a quick word on the Test match, because Jayden Seales, who played the first 7 county championship matches for Sussex this season, has picked up a couple of wickets. So well done, Jayden. 9 overs, 2 for 31. He picked up the wicket of Ben Duckett and Zach Crawley. But in comes Chris Wood from the C end of the ground, bowls to Daniel Hughes, who is caught behind, and that's a big blow as far as Sussex are concerned. And Daniel Hughes, who's been in terrific form this season, edges that one behind, and he goes without bothering the scorers, and that's a big wicket, and the Sharks are 17 for 1.
Yeah, again, there's a bit of movement there, just away from the bat. Just a little feather of an edge through to Ben McDermott, but the ball, it started fairly wide, just went wider, and he's not really in a great position once that ball arrives. Bat's coming down at a 45-degree angle. It's got to meet it right on, otherwise you're in trouble.
What will be interesting here is whether this means that Harrison Ward has to play in a slightly different way with Daniel Hughes out. We shall see. The man coming out, now that looks a little bit to me. Oh, it is Tom Clark who's coming out. So Tom Clark playing his another left-hander. It's full of left-handers, this Sussex top order.
It is, isn't it?
Has missed most of the campaign. He hurt his shoulder during a warm-up match. Played in the game against Glamorgan last week. Would have been in the side, I think, had he been fit at the start of the campaign.
Yeah, he didn't play down in the first fixture down at the Utility, did he?
No. In comes Wood. To bowl to the new man, who is Clark, who's beaten outside the off stump. Didn't move his feet, and the ball went through to McDermott, who took it low down about knee high. This is a good spell by Chris Wood, who's just getting the ball to swing a little bit here.
Yeah, this is the most consistent, if I'm honest, that he's been. He started a little iffy at times in matches, which has given the opposing side a bit of momentum early on, but this is a much better spell.
Still the one slip in place, floodlights on, blue sky above Hove. As in comes Wood, over the wicket, bowls, and Clark looking to club that one away through extra cover. He's beaten again outside of the outside edge, taken by McDermott, and it's another dot ball. 3 dot balls to start the over, one of those being a wicket.
Yeah, he's swinging. He's definitely swinging. That was a little wide, really, which is a line which, as a batter in T20s, you've got to go for. You have to.
I said there's blue sky around. There's also cloud around Hove as well, and there's quite a strong breeze as well. I can see the trees outside the ground swirling, swaying in the wind. As in comes Chris Wood, bowls to Clark, who defends into the offside. They'll need to get a move on here as the throw comes in. It misses the stumps, but that wasn't too far away from Benny Howell, and Tom Clark had to get motor through the gears. He's on his way, and Sussex go to 18 for 1 in the third over.
One wicket and 1 run off that over.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one more. There's one more will come.
I can see the flags on the clock tower scoreboard are billowing away as well. That will tell you how strong the wind is here at Hove tonight. James Vince just comes across and has a word to Chris Wood. They've done away with the slip now for Harrison Ward. Just 2 fielders allowed outside of the 30-yard circle at this stage of proceedings. In fact, the third man is now coming up inside the circle.
Yeah.
At a short third man, they've got a sweeper on the cover boundary and a deep mid-wicket. As Wood runs away from us. The sun makes a fleeting appearance. He's in and bowls, and Ward goes hard at that, trying to drive through the offside. Beaten again. That's 3 occasions in this over that the batter's been beaten outside the off stump by Chris Wood.
Yeah, the ball's swinging away every time. I mean, you're taking a chance driving on the up with it the way it's moving, but I suppose in T20 cricket and the way he plays, he's going to go for it anyway. He won't care. An edge actually probably won't be a bad thing as long as it's a thick edge.
18 for 1, 1 ball remaining in the third over. Chris Wood is in. Bowls to Ward, who thumps this away, but there's a sweeper on the cover boundary, so it'll be a single to Harrison Ward, and that's an excellent over by Chris Wood. He's only conceded the 2 singles. He's picked up the important wicket of Daniel Hughes, and the Sharks, at the end of the third over, having been asked to bat this evening, are 19 for 1.
Well, if I was James Vince, I'd give him another over. Well, this ball's swinging. Chris Wood's dangerous. I mean, if he comes back overs 19 and 20 and there's no swing, then for me it's a bit of a waste. I would just keep him on, and if he's swinging the ball in the third, I'd give him his 4th and let him bowl out. I know it leaves Hampshire a bit light going into the death because their South African pace bowler that was due over has got problems with his visa. That's Odell Bartman. So they would have had a natural death bowler in the side tonight, but I think sometimes you just have to go for broke. If the odds are in the bowler's favour, which they are Chris Wood's at the moment, and probably more than any time this season for him, just let him go and then worry about overs 18 and 20 later on down the line.
I think this has happened with Ollie Robson quite a lot, bowling. Every match he's played, he's bowled 3 in the power play, and I said to Full Brace, do you ever think about bowling 4? And he said, yeah, absolutely. You know, if you're bowling well.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, if you get the white ball off the straight, you're dangerous.
If you'd played T20, would you rather bowl 4 straight out, or coming back is always difficult as well?
It is. Now here's John Turner then from the Cromwell Road end and bowls, and it's a length ball to Ward, who's driving to extra cover, fielded by Benny Howe. I used to, well, you got to remember, there was a bit the white balls, because obviously they were fairly new when I was playing towards the end of my career, so we were still finding out about white balls really. And it was definitely as it is now. The white balls would do a bit early on and not later, and I would definitely want to bowl early. If I could get the ball off the straight, I wanted to bowl early. Now this heaved, big thick edge, and that's 1 bounce for 4. Over third. Wow, he's given that the kitchen sink.
Yes, he has.
And that's almost a 6 off the outside edge down the hill.
Well, they are short boundaries here at Hove, particularly straight of the wicket, and he really did throw everything at that. I mean, it could have gone anywhere. The third man is fairly wide. He's almost deep backward point, isn't he, over there? So it wasn't a chance, but not at all where Harrison Ward intended it to go.
23 for 1 then. Ward's on 22 from 13, facing John Turner. Quick bowler, gives himself some room, tries to thrash that one. No ball called by the umpire. Now this was another problem if you're not used to the slope here at Hove.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be a free hit, isn't it?
Yeah. No,
it is, and I was talking to a couple of seasons ago, and even the Sussex lads will tell you, it just takes a little while to get used to it. So I think John Turner played here last year from memory, but it does take a bit of getting used to him. When you're coming down the hill, it is very easy to overstep. So Harrison Ward will be looking to make the most of this.
Yeah. So here we go then, free hit. Turner to Ward, and he's full ball, but it's worked away over cover, and that's going a flat 6, I think. 6-6 signal, just bounced just in front of the boundary boards, but that is smashed, and that's never got more than about 7 or 8 feet in the air.
No, that was like a rocket, wasn't it?
Blimey, he's gone for the Yorker there, John Turner, didn't quite get it right. Ward again, just hitting through the line, and he's so strong. He moves on to 28 from just 15, 31 for 1 now. Sussex in the 4th. Got a real problem from that top end here at the moment, Hampshire. Bowls again, just Turner, and it's short, and he's trying to pull that away the leg side. That'll be a wide. Good diving stop from Ben McDermott.
Yeah, it was a good stop, because that would have been four wides in the end, but it was a good stop diving away.
Again, this is just indicative a little bit of John Turner. He's under pressure early on, and that's been a feature of what's happened to him this year. Last year his economy rate, as I mentioned, was literally just over 6. I think it was the most economical of any of the bowlers in the South Group who'd bowled over a certain amount of overs. This year's a different story. Comes in again, bowls, low full toss, missed. Good take from McDermott.
Very good. That was quick as well.
He's quick. There's no doubt about it. John Turner's quick. He was injured a bit at the start of the year, so didn't play that much cricket, but he played, I think he played in that first-class counties game as well against the West Indies, picked up a couple or so wickets.
Was he at Exeter University?
Yes.
He was, yeah. Because
he
Exeter
finishes
University
this year, or finished this year.
Yeah, they played a pre-season game down here. I think it was last season.
Yeah.
People were saying Crumsy's quick.
Yes. In again, then down the hill, bowls, pulled away, and that's more runs, and that could be 6 as well. It's just helped down to fine leg. He's used John Turner's pace, and he's got maximum benefit.
He has, and the rope is probably set, I don't know, 5-6 feet inside of the normal boundary, so they are very short boundaries here, particularly down towards the corporate hospitality here at the C end of the ground. And you're right, Kevin, he didn't really need to hit that, he just helped it on its way. Expensive over this.
16 plus the no balls and the wide. Comes in again and bowls to Ward, and Ward pulls that away. Doesn't time that one quite as well, got tucked up a little bit as the ball trickles out behind square on the leg side. That's fielded by James Fuller in the sunshine.
Hooray.
Hove. So that's 4 overs gone, 39 for 1, big over 20.
And listening to live cricket on the BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Solent, Adrian Harms, Kevin James in the sunshine, hurrah, at Hove. The floodlights are on, not a huge crowd as you can imagine with the football going on tonight. The ground probably about a quarter full. But those that are here are seeing an entertaining innings from Harrison Ward. 35 off 18 balls. The Sharks, having been asked to bat first this evening, are 39 for 1. If you missed the start, Tamal Mills was saying that Sussex would have batted had they won the toss. So everybody's got their wish, and we are going to have a change of bowling. Chris Wood isn't going to carry on bowling from this C end of the ground. Up the hill, it's going to be James Fuller who's into the attack. For those of you who don't know the ground, bowling from the C end where we're commentating from, he's bowling up the hill to bowl to the left-handed Ward, and Ward thumps that down the ground. He's going to be... Oh, no, it's not. It was only just out of the reach of James Vince, who's fielding at mid-on. He was trying to adjust his feet, James Vince, to get in a position to take the catch, but in the end it was just too high. It went over his head and down to the boundary, and Harrison Ward goes to 39 off 19 deliveries. The Sharks going well here in the power play. They're 43 for 1.
Yeah, misses are getting full value as well here.
Yeah. Fuller wheels around and coming around the wicket past umpire Chantry. He's in and bowls. Ward hits this one straight to James Vince, and he's not going to get away with it twice, and Vince takes the catch. And I think that's a rather disappointing way to end for Harrison Ward. He'd got himself a good start, but he's drilled that straight to James Vince, who never looked likely to put the catch down, and Hampshire fight back, and Ward is on his way for 39.
Well, second wicket in the power play, so that's positive from a Hampshire point of view. It was too full. He's trying to hit that down the ground in the air, and he can't get underneath it. So he's just hitting that at catchable height straight at James Vince. So a mistake.
Yeah, I would agree with you. What I would say as well, sometimes Harrison Ward has got himself. I mean, he's there to score runs quickly in the power play, and he's done that. But having got yourself in 39, I just wonder whether you think you need to go on and make a really big score here.
Well, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Sussex are second in the table by going hard in the power play. It's worked. It's not going to work every single game. So there are going to be games where it doesn't come off. But I mean, it's working. You know, there are 7 other sides in the South Division that love to be second in the group right now. So it's difficult to abandon a plan that basically has been working.
Yep. So the new man in is the right-handed James Coles, who you'll be able to see at the Utilita Bowl later on this season, playing for the 100 for the Southern Brave. Right-handed all-rounder. In comes Fuller bowls, and it hits Coles on the thigh pad, bounces out onto the onside. Umpire Chantry signals that as a leg by. The score advances by 1 to 44 for 2 in the 5th over. I'm aware of people joining us all the time, so just to repeat, Hampshire winning the toss this evening, electing to bowl first. It's a clash of 2nd v 7th in the South Group, but as Kevin was saying, Hampshire by no means out of it, only 4 points adrift of the quarter-final positions. The top 4 out of a group of 9 go through to those quarter-finals. Fuller in bowls and defended by Tom Clark down the onside of the track, and there is no run. So it remains 44 for 2. The men out for Sussex. Daniel Hughes, who was the 3rd highest run scorer in the competition so far this season, he was out without scoring. And Harrison Ward with a hard hit 39 with 6 fours and 2 sixes in the 20 balls that he received. Fuller wheels around, runs up the hill. In bowls to the left-handed Tom Clark, who lofts this one down the ground, and that's going to run away for 4 runs. That was a nice shot by Tom Clark. He didn't belt the ball, he just timed the ball and lofted it over James Vince, who's inside the 30-yard circle. It was a safe shot, and the ball runs away down the hill for 4 runs. Clark goes to 5, and the Sharks to 48 for 2.
They're not frightened, these Sussex batters, are they?
No, that was nicely timed by... I mean, their form here last year in the T20 was dreadful. They won 1 of 7. They've turned that around this year as Fuller is in bowls to Clark, and he's at it again, and I thought for a moment he's going to be caught down at 3rd man, fielded way down in the distance on the bounce. Can't see who the fielder is. Wade, he's about 100 yards away from us, right down there at 3rd man. Tom Clark picks up a couple of runs, not where he intended the ball to go, but that's very much the nature of T20 cricket. Clark goes to 7. James Coles is yet to score, and at the end of the over, very annoyingly, we've got some adverts going up.
It's 50. I think it's 50.
Yes, it is. 50 up. 50 for 2 are Sussex at the end of the 5th over, an over that cost 11 runs.
So Chris Wood's 2 overs cost us 7 with 1 wicket. Brad Wheel's first over from the Cromwell Road end went for 12. John Turner's went for 20 from the Cromwell Road end. And James Fuller 149, I think that is, from his first over. So who have we got at the far end? Are we back to... welcome 5 Sports Extra here. As Brad Wheels back into the attack for Hampshire. It's Kevin James and Adrian Harms with you as that's worked to mid-wicket by James Coles. And there is no run. So 50 for 2. We're at the start of the 6th over, the last over of the power play. Sussex sitting in 2nd place going into this game, which is match day 10 for both these sides out of 14. Hampshire have got a bit of work to do. They sit in 7th. We've seen a couple of, well, certainly from Harrison Ward, a very bludgeoning innings. We'll come to that in a moment, as that's quietly played on the onside. Quietly, because it hasn't been that quiet from a Sussex point of view, Adrian, up until now. Harrison Ward, who actually has come and gone, made 39 in just 20 deliveries, with 6 fours and 2 sixes. Both he and Daniel Hughes, the Australian fellow opener, who both strike at over 170 this season, which is absolutely massive. Whilst Harrison Ward came off tonight, Hughes didn't. He was out for no score. And it's Tom Clark and James Coles out there in the middle.
Yeah, James Coles, who, just looking at this Sussex order tonight, will be the only right-hander in the top 6 for Sussex tonight. 5 left-handers.
Yes. Here's Brad Wheel to another one of those left-handers. A quick single taken as the ball's hit into the pad, goes out on the offside. Tom Clark moves on to 8, and we are in the 6th over. We're halfway through the 6th over here. It is a small crowd. Apparently there's something else going on that's more important, which is hard to believe, than this game tonight. Which the crowd, I heard somebody say, did you tell me there was only about 1,400 pre-sold or something?
I think they said 1,600 tickets, but that's excluding pass holders, so people can buy a blast pass here that gets you into all the games.
Wheel to the right-hander, Coles drives on the up, goes out on the offside. All the fielders are right back on the 30-yard circle, so the batters know that and can run straight away, as long as they don't hit it too hard.
I think if I bought a ticket for tonight, you come along, don't you?
Yeah, and just have the other game on your,
or
whatever it is that's on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, they don't. If they win tonight, they don't win the overall tournament. There's still another game on Sunday. So.
Whereas the locals can see Sussex take another giant stride towards qualification. Here's Wheel down the hill, bowls. He's having a thrash outside off stump and misses. As Tom Clark goes through to Ben McDermott behind the stumps.
Excellent over this from Brad Wheel. Fine over the power play. James seems to be absolutely delighted. Just 3 singles coming off of it so far. And despite that onslaught from Harrison Ward, I think both sides will be reasonably pleased with where they are.
Bright evening sunshine here in Hove as Wheel comes in again and hammered away on the leg side. One bounce, so it's gone past at a fair rate of knots. James Fuller, who's on the boundary, I think it almost went past him before he started to dive. That's how quickly it arrived to him. He was running in, and then all of a sudden the ball's past him. And Sussex move on to 57 for 2. That's the power play.
So 7 runs coming off that over of Brad Wheels. And now, for those of you who don't follow T20 cricket, it means now the power play is the opening 6 overs, during which only 2 fielders are allowed outside of the 30-yard circle. Hampshire can now elect to have 5 fielders outside of the circle, so inevitably that means it's more difficult to hit boundaries and to score runs quickly. And a change in bowling, Liam Dawson coming into the attack.
Yeah, well, hopefully, as he has done throughout this tournament and in previous campaigns, we'll just quieten things down a little bit, although things have quietened down a little bit since Harrison Ward departed.
Circuit bowler's left arm spin, Liam Dawson. He asks umpire Chantry to stand back from the stumps a couple of places, and he comes in off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. Bowls to James Coles, who tucks that one away down to fine leg, and I think let's wait for the umpire's signal. Did it come off the bat? So just clipped away by James Coles, very fine, and the ball raced away over a very lush looking outfield for 4 runs.
Yeah, just a little too tight there from Liam Dawson, who's not looking to give any width whatsoever. 6 wickets at 26 so far in this campaign, but his economy rate is just over 7, which is great for a spinner.
Very good. Dawson in bowls, and Coles clips that away on the leg side, picks up a single. James Coles, he goes to 7, Sussex to 62 for 2. Just to repeat, this is the same pitch that was used for the Women's International last night between England and New Zealand, a game that was heavily affected by the rain. The ground staff was saying they had a desperate evening getting the covers on and off, but they managed to get a game on, which was the main thing. Dawson, left arm spin around the wicket, in and bowls. Switch hit from Tom Clark, who's hit on the pad. The ball bounces out into the offside, and there is a single to Sussex. Total goes to 63 for 2. Did you ever try switch hitting in your career?
No.
Would you have been told off?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't practice it.
I mean,
Which reminds me, I'll tell you, come back to that in a minute.
In comes Dawson. And the wicket bowls, and Coles again just eases it onto the leg side. Now they're going to think about taking 2 here. They're going to come back for the second. The throw comes in, and in the end, they do come back for a second run. Good running from Sussex.
Yeah. Dawson's not happy with that.
No, I'm not sure there were 2 runs there, really. And Brad Wheel sort of put his arms out as if so we're about to come in a long way.
Yeah, Dawson clapped his hands at him.
Yeah, Coles goes
to say, run. Come on.
Yeah, and he's saying to James Vince, I think he wants him in. Yeah, he's not happy, is he, Liam Dawson? Waving his arms around. 65 for 2 are Sussex in the 7th. Dawson in again, bowls, and Coles just eases that one to backward point. He takes a step down the wicket, the throw comes in. That's good fielding there at shortish third man. The throw came in, Liam Dawson whipped off the bails at the non-strikers end, but Tom Clark, who committed to the run, managed to get himself back in his ground.
And both Liam Dawson and James Vince, about 3 or 4 yards away from the umpire each, in different directions, were both shouted at the umpire. They were as thick as thieves, those two, I'm telling you.
Dawson, I mean, even from here, it kind of looked in, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
In comes Dawson, bowls to James Coles. He pulls that away on the leg side and picks up a single to deep mid-wicket. Coles goes to 10, and at the end of the 6th over, Sussex are 66 for 2. Tom Clark on 12, James Coles on 10.
I was just saying, I never practiced it, so you wouldn't play it in a game, but it reminds me of that interview that Paul Farbrace gave after a T20 here last year, where he absolutely laid into his side, and the more he laid in, the more he actually went for it. And then somebody asked him, the interviewer asked him about 1 or 2 dismissals, and he said, you know, what's that bloke playing a reverse sweep? He said, I've been watching him practice for 2 weeks, he hasn't played a reverse sweep, so what's he doing playing it again? And it was brilliant. And funny enough, I watched that interview again because I've got it on my phone. It's absolutely priceless. Was it Essex game here?
It was, yes. It wasn't me who did the interview, actually. I wasn't covering that game. Brave interviewer.
The interview was great, and you're great anyway, so I'm not taking that away from it. It's Benny Howe then with these slow medium paces, and that's trying to whip it away on the leg side is Coles, and he's half shout for an LBW, but it looked as though it was going down, even from our angle, which we are about 4 or 5 pitches at least away to the right, but it looked like it was going down. 66 for 2, then started the 8th. Benny Howe runs literally off about 4 or 5 paces, probably both slower than Liam Dawson. He's slowable as that's turned away on the leg side. They're running a quick one as it goes to John Turner. But I loved that interview, and even the interview at the end was trying to help him drag it back because he felt he'd been too scathing of the side. It's fantastic. I'm looking to my left and I can see 2 sharks, one blue and one pink. They've obviously got names, the mascots. Sid the shark, and that's hit hard behind square on the leg side. Work to do on the boundary, away to our left. Clark will pick up 2, 69 for 2.
And I've no idea of the pink shark. Perhaps the lads in the media team could let me know if they're listening.
Yeah.
What's the name of the pink shark?
Yeah. It's not often you see a pink shark.
No, it isn't. No.
Whether it's on a cricket ground or in the wild. It's understandable. Here's Howe. Worked away on the onside, not really timed, goes out, rolls out towards deep mid-wicket, far away up the hill where we're looking. And the total moves on to 70 for 2 with Coles on 11 and Clark on 15.
It's got a little quieter, hasn't it? Sussex just period of rebuilding here just for a couple of overs while Coles and Clark have a look at the bowling.
Yeah, he's trying to heave that away on the leg side, doesn't get hold of it, ball bounces and trickles out to deep square leg. That's Toby Albert out there in the deep.
Well, I'm told by the media team that they're just two fans in inflatable suits.
So they're not even official mascots?
I don't think they are. No, they're just fans.
Well, I tell you what, the club should sign them up. They're better than most. That's hit away through extra cover. Again, there's work to do out in the deep, and it's gone for 4. That is a really good shot. That's right out of the middle of the bat of Clark's. And Sussex move on to 75 for 2. And we've had 8 overs.
And you're listening to live cricket on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harms, Kevin James here at Hove. Floodlights on, some blue sky above us. Also, quite a lot of heavy cloud, but the forecast is good, and that cloud that there is being pushed along by a stiff breeze here on the south coast. Hampshire winning the toss, electing to bowl first. Daniel Hughes without scoring, and Harrison Ward 39 off 20 balls are the 2 men out, as Liam Dawson comes to bowl his second over, bowling up the hill from the C end of the ground to bowl to the right-handed James Coles, who hit this one high and wide, and that's gone all the way for a maximum. Good shot from Coles, drilling the ball over long off for 6 runs. It's not the longest boundary, but Sussex have learnt how to play at this ground. They said they were very poor last year, just 1 win out of 7. And James Coles clubbing that one away. Lovely shot. He goes to 18, 81 for 2. Dawson in again, bowls, and Coles clips that one away through backward point. They've taken 1. There won't be a second. The ball is fielded on the cover boundary. Coles goes to 19, the same as Tom Clark. Sussex 82 for 2 in the 9th.
I can't keep my eyes off those sharks. Honestly, for me, they're as entertaining as the game on the side there. We're at deep mid-wicket they are at the moment.
Liam Dawson isn't watching the Sharks. He's coming around the wicket. Bowls to Tom Clark, who steps back and hammers that one away through backward point. That's a fine shot by Tom Clark. A little bit too much width from Liam Dawson, but Tom Clark stepped away to the leg side and belted the ball away through backward point. Excellent timing. And he picks up a boundary, and Sussex go to 20. Sorry, Clark goes to 23. Sussex 88 for 2. There's a bit more heavy cloud drifts across Hove, and the floodlights shine a little brighter. Dawson's going to change the angle of attack. He's coming over the wicket, the left arm spinner. Off half a dozen paces, he's in and bowls. And Clark's at it again, and he's going to get 4 more runs. That was nicely placed between backward point and cover point. And the ball again races away. The outfield looks very lush, and it's been very wet down here at Hove this week. But the outfield is quick, and the ball raced away down towards third man for another boundary. Clark goes to 27. And this is an expensive over from Liam Dawson, 15 so far.
Yeah, it's not something we're used to.
90 for 2 are Sussex. Dawson in again, bowls to Clark, who eases that one through extra cover. He picks up 1. There won't be a second there, fielded by Wheel, who gets in the throw. 1 more to the total, 91 for 2. Clark goes to 28 off 16 deliveries. James Coles 19 off 14. Dawson waits, final ball of the over. In and bowls to Coles, who looks to pull this one on the leg side. He doesn't time it at all, and the ball ends up at deep mid-wicket. He picks up a single, so Liam Dawson finishes the over with a couple of singles. Sussex 92 for 2 at the end of the 9th, with Coles on 20, Clark on 28.
And make that 17 off the over.
Yeah.
We had a really big over, didn't we, early on?
Yes, there were 20 off of John Turner's first
yeah.
over. Yeah, his only over so far.
I mean, it does look a really good wicket. It does look as though it's full of runs, but you can only really say that when batters are out there confident and actually hitting through the line of the ball. It's getting in. I'm not sure Hampshire have necessarily had enough players doing that this year. Here's Benny Howe then, and he's bowling. Down the wicket comes Coles, and that's worked out towards deep mid-wicket, 93 for 2. Those Sharks, though, they've got very expensive costumes, first and foremost. The colours are just right. The way they're standing is just right. You'd expect a shark upright to be standing like that, wouldn't you? Everything is right. As that's turned away on the onside, single taken, 94 for 2. They pose for the camera. Look at them, look, they're still.
I'm presuming they can see.
Yeah, well, you'd think so, otherwise you won't see much of the game. But my word, they're just mesmerising. Here comes Benny Howell again. Worked hard up towards deep mid-on. Fielded at the top end of the ground. Keeps the score down to a single, 95 for 2.
I mean, wickets have been good here, Kevin. On Friday night here, Glamorgan made 235 for 6. Batting first. Now, Sussex didn't bowl particularly well, as Tamal Mills said in his interview, but they are relatively short boundaries.
Here's Howell flicked away in the air, but safe down to deep backward square leg, where Brad Wheel is fielding in front of the. There are some corporate people in, isn't there? The tents away to our right in the corner. There's some corporate people in there. I'm sure there's a TV in there.
I bet there is.
So they got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
And if you've paid for a package tonight, you're not going to come, are you? All down there enjoying their wine and beer, etc. They've been very well behaved, I have to say.
Well, you say
so
that.
far.
Yes, so far. I remember that's hit up, not timed by Coles as it goes up to mid-on, moves on to 23, 97 for 2. Do you remember a few years ago, Dominic Thornby, the Australian playing for Hampshire, was fielding in there, and he got to a particularly crunch time in the game, and he took a catch down there.
Well, you've got a good memory, Kevin.
Yeah, well, I only remember it because it wasn't a nice incident. That's a cutaway behind point. Again, there's work to do on the boundary. Brilliantly saved. I think that's Turner down there. No, it's Joe Weatherly patrolling that boundary. So we are halfway through the Sussex innings, and they are 99 for 2, going really well here with Coles on 23 and Clark on 32. Yes, the one or two of the people in the corporates by the end of the evening, towards the end of the game, weren't shy in letting Dominic Thornby know what they thought of him.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't nice.
A bit unpleasant.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, let's hope there's none of that tonight. Well, if you're just joining us, a very good evening. Welcome to now a sunlit Hove. Sussex against Hampshire, T20 cricket. Hampshire winning the toss and deciding to bowl first here on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex. And is this Turner who's back into the attack?
It is.
Bowled one over earlier on that was rather expensive, John Turner. One over cost 20 runs, so they're going to change it from down the hill to up the hill here at Hove as he runs in now. Number 6 on his back, bowls, and Coles hammers that one away. Well, it would have been 4 runs, but it hit the stumps at the non-striker's end. And Turner gets away with a dot ball. I'll talk about the hill. It isn't really a hill, it's a slope that runs from the sea end up to the Cromwell Road end at the far end of the ground. It's a drop of about 10 feet from end to end. Did you enjoy bowling here, Kevin?
I usually bowled uphill.
Right.
And to be honest, once you got used to it, it wasn't that bad. It was only then when you came down the hill that you then thought, oh my God, no, I don't like this. If you can master it, you're better off bowling the end Turner's bowling now.
Turner in right arm over wicket, bowl short, hammered away by James Coles. That's going to be a boundary. But it was short, it was wide, it was outside the off stump, and James Coles smashed the ball away through backward point. That went very quickly across the outfield for 4 runs. 100 up for Sussex, 103 for 2 in the 11th over, and that boundary is greeted by the sun that comes out away to our left-hand side over in the west, and Coles goes to 27. Good shot.
Yeah, John Turner playing his 7th game tonight. His economy rate is 10 and over, so he's finding life tough this year.
Turner in, bowls down the leg side. Is that given as a wide? Well, umpire Jack Shantry was thinking about signalling a wide. But he got a long way across, James Coles, and it was a good take by Ben McDermott down the leg side. And there is no run. Total is 103 for 2. Coles 27, Clark 32. Turner wanders back to his mark. Turns. There are 3 men inside the circle on the offside. and one on the leg side as Turner is in bowls, and James Coles looked like he was going to try and ramp Turner, but in the end he just played the ball into the offside off the bottom of the bat and picks up a single. That's a bit cheeky.
Really, yeah, but that's really good play, isn't it? They're not going through with the shot regardless. Actually had time. Even John Turner's pace still had time to change his shot.
Very highly regarded is James Coles. Went away with the England Lions in the winter, and his performances this season, he's picked up a contract in the 100, which will be down in Southampton for the Southern Brave.
I can see why.
Yeah, he's a good player. He really is a fine player. He's only 20 years of age. As Turner runs away from us, he's in and bowls, hits Tom Clark on the pad. The ball bounces out onto the leg side. Turner retrieves the ball himself, and it is just a leg bye. If you're just wondering about the Test match today, the West Indies bowled out for just 121 at Lords today. 7 wickets for the debutant Gus Atkinson, 7 for 45. What a day for him. In reply, England 189 for 3. Zach Crawley 76, Ollie Pope 57, and 2 wickets there for Jayden Seales, who played the first 7 championship matches for Sussex this season. Lovely man and a good bowler as well. In comes Turner, bowls, or James Coles to get a very fortunate boundary in. I guess that's the nature of T20 cricket, and actually I think James Coles just acknowledged John Turner. He was looking to hit that one away through extra cover. He got a big inside edge, the ball squirted away down to fine leg. No chance for the keeper, no chance for the fine leg fielder, but James Coles picks up a boundary. He goes to 32. Tom Clark already on 32. The Sharks 109 for 2 at the end of the 11th.
Yeah, again, it just sums up John Turner's T20 season this year. 10 in that over, so he's going for basically what he's been going for this season in this competition anyway, and that's one of his quieter overs. It's a bit tough. I'm sure he's thinking, think last year, JT. It was all good. It was all going well. 11 gone then. 109 for 2. Here's Benny Howell again, round the wicket, cut away through the covers by Clark, who moves on to 33, I think that'll be. Yep, 33 from just 21 deliveries, outscoring Coles, who's 32 from 23, but they're both going along nicely. Came together when the score was 43, so they put on 67 runs in 6 overs. Pulled away, kept a little low there from Benny Howell. They should get 2. It's split the field up at the top end where the dugouts are. 2 runs to Coles, takes him on to 34. The Sharks, they're inseparable, the Sharks. I don't think they've been more than a couple of feet away from each other the whole game. I don't know if there's a bit of string between the two of them. Whether they're in love, I don't know.
3-legged race?
Yeah. Shorts, and that's just pushed away quietly on the onside by Coles. He moves on to 35. 113 for 2.
Good partnership this, isn't it? 70 they put on now for this 3rd wicket.
Yeah. Do you know what? The atmosphere tonight feels like Radley.
Is it?
Yeah. There's no atmosphere there
very
for a T20.
It's very muted,
very quiet, isn't it? Just not very many people here. I mean, this would be a good 4-day crowd. Very good 4-day crowd, but T20? No. Pulled away again, not timed by Tom Clark this time, as it goes out to deep mid-wicket, and it's 114 for 2.
And it's a fixture, Kevin, that in previous years, you and I have been here, many times over the years. Really good crowds, Friday night, Hove, Sussex, Hampshire.
Which is why I think you notice it.
Yeah.
On a night like tonight. That's how bowls. That's pulled away in the air, but safe through mid-wicket, and that's 1 bounce for 4. 2 players out there, it split them. Nice shot there out of the middle of the bat this time. Takes Sussex on to 118 for 2.
Yes, he went away with the Lions in the winter, worked very hard on his bowling. He was saying, James Coles, he worked a lot with Graham Swan. But he's a very, very stylish batter as well, coming in at 4 in the championship as well.
Benny Howell in again, down the hill, gives himself some room there, Coles. That's a lovely shot through extra cover. That's going for 4. Just gave himself just enough room to find the angle past James Vince, who's right on the 30-yard circle. And Coles moves on to 43, and it's 122 for 2. Sussex going really well here. Their run rate at the moment, it's just over 10s, isn't it? Yeah, 12 overs,
Yeah, 10.2. If you're just joining us, live cricket on the BBC, BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex, 5 Sports Extra. We're at Hove, where the sun is out, there's some blue sky around. We started on time at 7 o'clock, and the forecast is good for the rest of the game, so good news for all involved. Hampshire winning the toss, deciding to bowl first. And as Kevin was saying, Sussex off to a good start here. They lost Daniel Hughes, the Australian, without scoring. Harrison Ward, the other opener, for 39 off 20 balls. But since then, Tom Clark and James Coles have put together a partnership of 79 since they came together in the 5th over. And it's going to be the return of James Fuller, who's going to bowl from the C end of the ground. Picked up the wicket of Harrison Ward, caught by James Vince. His 1 over cost 10 runs. Right arm over the wicket, runs away from us into bowl to Clark, and Clark pulls that one away on the leg side. Fielded, good bit of fielding actually out on the deep square leg boundary. That prevents anything more than a single. Clark goes to 35, 123 for 2. See plenty of people on the balconies around the ground. To the right hand side, these very nice sort of apartments with balconies overlooking the ground, so you get a free view of the cricket.
They get the sun as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's lovely. There's 2 big blocks of flats at the far end of the ground. You very rarely see anybody watching. Why would you have a flat at a cricket ground and not watch? But there's no one at that far end as Fuller in his yellow shirt is in again. Bowls to James Coles, who hammers that one away down to long on. They've taken 1. They'll think about coming back for 2. The throw comes in. This is risky, but a good bit of running actually by James Coles. He had to move a long way to his right. Who's that down in front of us?
Tom Prest.
Tom Prest. He got his throw away, but Clark had clearly made up his mind. He was coming back for the second run. James Coles goes to 45. The Sharks to 125 for 2 in the 13th over. Coles' weight 45 of just 28 deliveries. As James Fuller, right arm over the wicket, medium pace, is in and bowls and steps away. Does James Coles to the leg side. The ball goes through to Ben McDermott. Coles looked at umpire Chantry as if to say, is that a wide? No way was that a wide. He'd stepped away, a good pace outside the leg stump. Yeah. And the ball goes through to McDermott. 125 for 2. Fuller walks thoughtfully back to his mark, tosses the ball from hand to hand, and is already running back in to bowl to the right-handed Coles in his blue shirt. He's in and bowls, and James Coles is... Well, I thought for a moment he'd been caught behind, but Dermot put up his hand with ball in hand as if to say that's out, but clearly it wasn't. But good delivery by James Fuller, and this is a good over so far, just 3 runs coming off of it.
He just hits the deck a little bit harder. I think that ball's just gripped a fraction. Try and wait to see that again.
Was that a bit unkind to call him medium pace? He's a bit above that, isn't he?
He's a bit quicker than that.
Yeah, he's a bit quicker than that.
Yeah, it's nipped back a fraction, that one. That's missed the stumps by much.
Fast medium?
Yeah.
Don't tell him I said that. Fuller in, bowls, and Coles again is beaten, and that was a quick delivery. He was looking to swing that one away on the leg side, James Coles, and it's rattled through into the gloves of Ben McDermott, who takes that waist high. 3 dot balls in a row, and just 3 off the over so far. Yeah. Good over from Fuller.
It is, and I'm not sure he's really thinking out there those last 2 balls. He's just trying to hit through the line without any thought at all, really. There's no thought into those last 2 shots. He's just seen the ball pitched and he's had a whack. Sunday morning stuff.
Fuller will try to get out of this over if he can. He's in and bowls, and James Coles comes down the wicket, drives the ball down the ground, doesn't really time it, and it's fielded by Tom Prest down below us, and that's a very fine over by James Fuller, an over which he conceded just the 4 runs at the end of the 13th over here. Sussex Sharks are 126 for 2. Coles is on 46. Tom Clark is on 35.
Got an email here from Martin Stiles, suncricket@gmail.com. He says, I'm sitting looking at the garden. He says it's too windy to sit outside. There is a little bit of breeze here, isn't there?
There is, yeah, there is, yeah.
Having dinner and listening to you and watching the live stream, much better than any other sports this evening. Of course it is. After all, which sport has provided England with more and more recent World Cup titles?
Very true.
There we are. So you're watching the game of the evening. Liam Dawson is switching ends to the far end, the Cromwell Road end, so that's the top end as we look. His first 2 overs have gone for 25, so he's conceding just over 12 and over, which is something he's not used to this season. 126 for 2 then, and he's bowling to James Coles, the right-hander. Coles goes big over mid-on. Has he gone big enough? He hasn't. He's caught a deep mid-on right on the boundary edge, and that is a wicket. Liam Dawson picks up Coles, who's gone for 46, 126 for 3.
I think that was rather reflective, Kevin, of that previous over where there was 3 dot balls. He then got a single last ball, and probably feeling James Cole's that with wickets in hand, he probably thinking I've got to get a bit of a move on, but that was straight down the throat of long on. And James Cole's goes.
I think that's TBL, but I'm not 100% sure because it's a long way away from here. But it was taken. That's the main thing. It was held on safely.
It was. A partnership of 83 between Clark and Coles.
Yeah, that's a good one. It just looked like he decided to hit anything.
Yeah.
Which just could have kept going, really. And it's easy to say from here, but he was playing nicely. He was timing it nicely. Probably feel it just looked like he tried to go up a gear or two. 2 gears, really.
Well, another left-hander has come out. Is it John Simpson or is it? No, it's Tom Alsop, the former Hampshire man, a player you'll know well.
Oh, yes.
Very good hockey player.
Yes.
I think he might have represented England scoreboards. Certainly England on a pretty good level. I think he's got a brother who might play hockey as well.
Okay.
But he needs to play some cricket shots here.
Yeah, he made 43 in the game between these two sides earlier in the season. So 126 for 3, Dawson to Alsop. Left arm spinner to left-hander on the back foot. Alsop off the mark straight away. Hit set up towards deep mid-off. He's done well since he's been down here, hasn't he? Alsop?
He's done really well, and he's had an excellent season in all formats. He's played some really important innings, and I'm really pleased he's been picked up for the 100, Kevin.
Yeah, deserves
sort of player who deserves it. No, absolutely.
Yeah, he does, yeah. Benny Howe was the catcher, by the way, at the far end. That's cut away, kept a little low on Tom Clark. Works it in the offside for a single. Moves on to 36, 128 for 3, halfway through over number 14. Yeah, that partnership of 83 came off 9 overs. That's Dawson bowls. That's hit away by Alsop as well. Strongly into the offside, and that's a good boundary past the diving Joe Weatherly. He was right in front of the members there.
Yeah, I thought for a moment Weatherly had got a hand on that, but it went very fast. I mean, it's very lush, the outfield, but it's a beautiful outfield here at Hove.
It is, actually, yeah.
But it absolutely races away.
That's one thing I always notice here at the end of the game when I'm walking over the far side. You look at the turf and you think, this is beautiful. Alsop gets tucked up there, just plays it back to Dawson.
There's almost no excuse here for a misfield, to be honest. I mean, Ben Gibson and his ground staff do an amazing job. It does look fabulous.
It does, yeah. One of the better outfields.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah.
Dawson again, bowls, and Alsop tries to hit that away on the leg side. He does, but he was trying to get more elevation on it. Ball goes out to wide mid-on, where Tom Alsop comes round. He'll pick up 2, though. And Alsop will move on to 7, end of the over. 14 gone, 6 to do, 134 for 3.
Yeah, 8 off of the over. Alsop and Clark go and have a natter here on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Solent. Adrian Harms, Kevin James. In the sunshine here, well, we're in a commentary box, but the sun is out. It's a breezy night here at Hove. The trees swaying away outside of the ground, and the flags of Sussex and Hampshire billowing away on the clock tower scoreboard away to our right-hand side. It's going to be James Fuller who's going to carry on, who's bowled 2 very fine overs. 2 overs, 1 for 14 for Fuller, who's going to be bowling to the left-handed Tom Clark, who's 36 of 24 balls. Sussex 134 for 3. As Fuller is in, bowls to Clark, who's looking to ramp that. Well, he's going to, I thought for a moment he was going to be caught. He was looking to ramp that. He got a big, thick outside edge, and the ball somehow ended up at deep backward point, and Clark goes to 37, 135 for 3.
Yeah, again, it's just nowhere near a fielder.
No.
Another mistake, and it's just been one of those years in the field for Hampshire, really. Balls just go in the air, they don't seem to go anywhere near hand.
Fuller, moral success for the bowler. Tom Alsop surveys the field. You'll see there's 3 men inside the 30-yard circle on the offside, just 1 on the leg side at short, fine leg, as in comes Fuller. Bowl short, pulled away by Alsop. That's a good-looking shot by Tom Alsop, and that's going to go for 4 runs. It was short, and he clipped the ball away off his hip, so I'm always halfway between a clip and a pull down to deep backward square. And Tom Alsop picks up a boundary. Nice shot. He goes to 11, 139 for 3.
Yeah, averaging 25 this year in this competition. Good strike rate, though, just under 150.
Yeah,
terrific.
Played a very good innings at the Oval in a game that Sussex always like to beat. Everyone likes to beat Surrey, but he played a very fine innings at the Oval. In comes Fuller again over the wicket bowls, and Allsop defends into the offside. They think about a single, but that's very well fielded by James Fuller off his own bowling. Liam Dawson was closing in on the ball as well, and in the end Allsop rightly decided not to go through for the single. Total remains 139 for 3. Allsop 11, Clark 37. The man out, Hughes the Australian, without scoring. Harrison Ward 39 of 20 deliveries, and James Coles out in that last over from Liam Dawson. 46 off 33 deliveries with 5 fours and a 6. Fuller runs away from us to bowl to Allsop, and Allsop crunches that one away through backward point. It's only a single, there's a fielder on the boundary. Allsop goes to 12, 140 for 3.
Yeah,
Isn't it nice to see some sunshine, Kevin?
Well, it is, yeah, and it's amazing, isn't it, that it wouldn't normally be needed, but the air conditioning in this room is broken, as you said. And on the one night in the last month that you needed it, it's broken.
It is, yeah.
Unbelievable. So we're absolutely sweltering.
We are. There's Fuller, number 26 on the back of his yellow shirt, runs away from us, bowls, and it's hammered down there. He's going to be caught here. He's gone high out towards the deep mid-wicket boundary, and the catch is safely taken, and Tom Clark is on his way. Now, he made that catch look very simple out there at deep mid-wicket, but it went up an awful long way, and the catch was taken by Joe Weatherly. Good catch. I mean, at this level, you would expect to take a catch like that, but he went up a long, long way. He wasn't looking into the sun, that was fortunate. And Tom Clark goes, and another wicket for James Fuller, who's bowling a good spell here for Hampshire. That's his second wicket.
Yeah, he got right underneath that one. Fortunately, he's not looking into the sun. If it had been on the other side of the ground, that would have been an interesting one.
Yeah.
But that is a really good catch.
What it does mean from a Hampshire point of view is there's now 2 new batters at the crease, because Clark and Coles have gone in consecutive overs. So Tom Allsop has come in. He's got on very quickly into his stride, but John Simpson, the new man, coming out, and guess what? It's another left-hander. So 5 of the Sussex top 6 are left-handers. In fact, I say it's John Simpson. I think it's actually Danny Lamb who's coming out, which is interesting. So I wonder whether Sussex have just decided to go right hand, left hand here.
Might have done.
But it's certainly Danny Lamb, so that's a surprise. Coming out at number 6 for Sussex.
Yeah, that could very well be. There's been a lot of left-handers out there so far.
I wonder if that's a tactical move from Sussex. James Fuller, final ball of what's been another excellent over. In over the wicket, bowls to Lamb, who can only defend the ball down the onside of the track, and that's very fine bowling by James Fuller. He's picked up a wicket, just 6 runs going in the over. At the end of the 15th over, the Sussex Sharks, having been asked to bat here this evening, are 140 for 4. Danny Lamb yet to score, Tom Allsop on 12.
Yeah, I'm just looking at both their stats for this season. Danny Lamb has had 3 innings less, just over 100 runs. John Simpson's 139, so there's not a lot between them there. They're both averaging not far off the same, 18 and 17. Strike rates, John Simpson 125, Danny Lamb 116. So there's not a lot to tell there. It must be the right left-handed combination.
You're going to need your sunglasses with the...
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Need a cold towel. 140 for 4. It's been a warm towel for the last month. So Allsop to face, 12 from 7. It's going to be Benny Howell again with his mixtures. That's a reverse sweep, and he's found the gap. Down the hill, away to our left. Races away once it beats the infield. Good improvisation there from Tom Allsop. He moves on to 16, 144 for 4 now, the Sussex Sharks.
Yeah, he's been a very good acquisition for Sussex since he moved down the coast from Hampshire. Perhaps wasn't getting the opportunity he'd hoped for, but he's certainly made the most of his chances here at Hove.
I mean, T20 wise, so he had 7 years at Hampshire, played 42 matches in 7 years. Here's Howell bowls another reverse sweep, and it's just wrapped on the pad. I thought that had got through. But, what's this signal? Oh, there's an inside edge onto the pad,
Yeah,
so he'll get a single. Moves on to 17, 145 for 4. We're in the 16th over here in Hove with a small crowd, which is a shame because these are money spinners for both these clubs.
Well, most definitely. And I hate to think how much money Sussex have lost through the football being on tonight, because there would have been 3. They would have been almost a full house, I would imagine, but for the football.
Yeah, a lot of empty blue and white seats as you look around the ground. It's going to be Howell to Danny Lamb, the right-hander. Howell down the hill. Actually, I don't think he makes most of the hill. That's a lovely reverse sweep over short third man, and that's going for 4.
That's very much a favourite shot of Danny Lamb in this form of cricket, and I'll be surprised if James Vince doesn't elect to leave a fielder back, because he's done that on numerous occasions. I think he's contemplated, he's just looked at Benny Howell as if to say, shall we change the field? But they're going to leave it as it is, which is a little surprising, because he does like to play those shots backward of square behind the wicket.
So 149 for 4 then, Sussex, as Howell bowls. There's another reverse sweep from a very full delivery. And Lamb hits it out square on the offside this time, almost falls over as he does so. 150 up for Sussex.
It's got all the makings of a really good game, this, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm just looking, I mean, scores here, 180 is sort of minimum, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, as I say, Glamorgan 235 on Friday.
Yeah, winning score in that one, even though it was Duckworth-Lewis affected. That's played out on the onside. Even Ben McDermott runs out there to do the fielding to make sure they can't take any more than a single. Allsop moves on to 18, 151 for 4, 1 ball left of the 16th.
Yeah, and I think that you know, that was a big score. But I think, you know, with relatively short boundaries, quick outfield, you know, I think Sussex will be looking for, you know, 180, 190 minimum.
Yeah, I think 180 are in the game, but it's not a winning score really. Well, you just don't know, but you can't be safe. You can't say, oh yeah, we got a winning score there. Howell bowls, and that's nicely driven and nicely stopped on his return by Benny Howell. End of the over then, so 4 to do. Sussex are 151 for 4 with Allsop on 18 and Lamb on 5.
And just to live cricket on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Solent, Adrian Harms, Kevin James at a sunlit Hove, where Hampshire won the toss, elected to bowl first in a match that isn't critical to the group. Sussex currently in second, but a win for Sussex will put them in a good position with 4 games left for a place in the quarter-finals. Hampshire are by no means out of it if they lose tonight. They would still be very much in the hunt, but if they could win tonight, they would close to within 2 points of the top 4 sides and a place in the quarter-final. So all to play for, and Chris Wood is going to come back into the Hampshire attack, the left-arm seamer. Well, 2 very fine overs to get things underway. 2 overs, 1 for 7. He accounted for Daniel Hughes, caught behind by Ben McDermott for a duck. As in comes Wood, over the wicket, bowls to Allsop, who pulls it away on the leg side. Doesn't time it, Tom Allsop, but he picks up a single to deep mid-wicket. He goes to... Oh, the scoreboard's gone up already. That was quick. Goes to 19, 152 for 4.
Yeah, I still stand by it. I would have kept Chris Wood on for another over at least, with the ball swinging. Left-handers out there, playing and missing.
So 4 overs to go. He'll bowl 2 of them, you'd imagine, Wood. Fuller will bowl 1. He's got to find one other. Perhaps Brad Wheel or... Benny Howell's bowled out now. In comes Wood, bowls, and Danny Lamb is at it again, and he does like that shot. He sort of ramps the ball over where first slip would have been, really, and the ball runs away to the boundary for 4 runs. It's the second time he's played that shot.
Yeah, they've got to do something about that, really, because it looks like his predominant shot here at the moment.
Yeah, it is, most definitely.
Yeah, the trouble is, he hasn't got a lot of options with the death. As I say, no Othniel Bartman, the South African that should have been here, would have bowled death overs, which probably would have allowed Chris Wood to bowl out, but wait and see if his visa arrives. 156
for 4. In comes Wood, and Lamb's at it again, but this time he doesn't make contact, goes through to McDermott. There is no run. It's quite, when you say the visa arrives, it almost sounds like it's sort of stuck in the post or something, doesn't it? But
yeah, I mean,
paperwork and bits.
Yeah, the version I've heard is that, and I know a lot of people on social media have been a little bit critical of Hampshire. My understanding is actually is nothing to do with Hampshire. It's not Hampshire's fault at all.
In comes Wood. Over the wicket, bowls, and Danny Lamb gets a big inside edge. They had a rather fortunate couple of runs. The ball runs in between all the fielders, to eventually fielded by the man coming in from deep backwards square, who gets in the throw. That's Tom Prest. But 2 more to Danny Lamb, who goes to 11, the total to 158 for 4.
It's a big area, even though it's a smallish ground. It's a big area out away to our right, and a miss hit there is absolutely perfect to get 2.
Wood. In again, bowls, and Lamb stretching. He stepped away. Well, he's trying to say to umpire Chantry, I didn't really step away to the leg side, but that's a good bit of bowling by Wood. Just 7 runs coming off the over, and I think our line has dialed down. Oh, no, it hasn't. No, still up. I heard a noise. Did you hear the noise?
So did I, yeah.
Yeah, that sort of noise which makes you think sometimes the kit's disconnected.
The Sharks are on the move. They're at the far end of the ground.
Where are they? Oh, yes, there they are. Yeah. Need to be careful they're not behind the bowler's arm next over. Sharks stop play. Now they've moved. I think that's good captaincy by James Vince. He's moved a third man down to try and stop that sort of reverse ramp being played by Danny Lamb, who's 11 not out. In goes forward, full toss, hammered away by Lamb. It's just going to be a single on this occasion, out to the sweeper on the cover boundary. A good over by Chris Wood. I think Hampshire would settle for that. Just 8 runs coming off of the 17th over. Sussex are 159 for 4. Lamb is on 12. Alsop is on 19.
Yeah, Chris Wood playing his 181st T20 match for Hampshire tonight. Can you quite believe that? That's an amazing amount of games for one club. His 1 wicket tonight has taken him to 196. He's 3rd on the all-time list in the Blast. A lot of experience out there. Currently in a testimonial year as well.
Well, he's bowled very well here tonight. 3 overs, 1 for 15.
Yeah. Had a benefit do down at St Cross, just outside Winchester, one of the clubs there on Sunday. Had a day off, went down there, called the game.
Nice.
Yeah, on my day off. Hampshire against St Cross, who play in the Southern League there, and St Cross won in the last over. Good game. 196 played, about 198 or something.
You were lucky to get cricket in last Saturday because the weather was...
Saturday was hopeless because it was radlit and we didn't bowl a ball, but then Sunday was the benefit game and there were a lot of showers around and somehow they got the game in between the showers, although they played through one. So, who have we got at the top end? Is it Brad Wheel? I think it is. Brad Wheel has bowled 2 overs, none for 19. So it looks like he's going to be bowling 2 overs, number 18 and 20. From that top end. He's bowling to Danny Lamb and Lamb gets a full delivery, digs that one out and plays it back to Wheel. That's a really good start to this over.
Very good. From
the Scottish international. Lamb's on 12, Alsop's on 19. Hasn't faced much of the strike recently, Tom Alsop. 159 for 4. Sussex looking to get up around the 200 mark. They've certainly played in a way that would have suggested it. These next few overs are critical from a Hampshire point of view. Will bowls. He's gone for the ramp shot. He's got it, and it's going all the way down for 6 in front of us. Low full toss, and he just presented the bat to the ball.
And that's the shot that he plays. And I'd imagine James Vince is going to move someone down on this boundary edge.
I would almost have 2 players down.
Yeah, well, I think you could. You could always have a good old-fashioned long stop, Kevin.
Yeah. He looks like a player that, he favours that shot. I would take somebody away. Well, maybe one of the cover fielders somewhere. He doesn't look as though he hits it strong enough for me. I think you can almost risk it. So John Turner is down at fine leg, and now Chris Wood has been put back at 3rd, and mid-off and mid-on are up. So Wheel's got to be careful here with the length that he bowls. Short, he hammers that away wide of mid-on, and Lamb will get 4. Well, even if mid-on was out, it wouldn't have made a difference. Wheel had just decided to go length, and Lamb's hit across that, and just about got enough on that. It wasn't out of the middle of the bat.
No, it wasn't.
22 he moves on to, 169 for 4. This is where it gets a bit of a game of cat and mouse for the bowler. Does he carry on bowling full? But if he gets it wrong with mid-on and mid-off up, that's a bit of a risk. He's tried length, that hasn't worked, and now mid-on goes back, and cover comes up. This is where you get this game of chess now during an over. Lamb moves on to 22 from 12. And Sussex are 169 for 4. Wheel down the hill again. Bowls to Lamb. Comes down the wicket. Low full toss. And he hasn't got enough on it. And that's called at mid-off. End of Danny Lamb, who goes for 22. Sussex 169 for 5.
Yeah, simple catch for James Vince, wasn't it? Full toss. Strange how it happens so often in T20 cricket. A full toss picks up a wicket. But a useful little innings there from Danny Lamb. He does enjoy playing that ramp shot, and I wondered now whether we will see. I wonder whether Sussex might have been tempted at this stage to bring in Nathan McAndrew, who was very effective down at the Utilita the other week, but it looks to me it's a right-hander who's coming in. I wonder if this is McAndrew. I think it is. Yes.
Yeah, you just got to put in your guys with the big strike rates now.
Yep.
John Simpson probably might find himself going down the order here.
Yes.
So McAndrew, this year, striking at 217.
Yeah.
I mean, coming in late on.
He's been
That's absolutely
terrific.
ideal.
Yeah, he's been a really good, he did very well here last year with a very inexperienced side, and he's done well in all formats. He bowled really well in the Championship here against Leicester and again at Northamptonshire games that Sussex won both of them. He'll be going back after the group stages of the T20, but he's more than proved his worth.
Plays for Sydney Thunder in the Big Bash.
Yeah.
Facing Brad Will, right arm over and bowls. McAndrew swats that away on the leg side. I think he's found the gap, and he has. That's going for 4. Good start from McAndrew.
I saw Ben McDermott there, who's just sort of looking at James Vince, maybe suggesting sort of a field placing. He would know all about Nathan McAndrew, I'm sure.
Well, you'd think James Vince would, really, having played Sydney Sixers for the last few years.
Yeah.
Their counterparts. So 173 for 5. McAndrew off the mark straight away with a boundary. This is where it's really difficult for a bowler. This is where Hampshire perhaps just lacking a predefined death bowler. Swats it away, misses, good length ball, and goes through to Ben McDermott. He's trying to whack that wider mid-on and then replays the shot, trying to hit through extra cover. You tell me which one's right. 173 for 5, 18 gone.
If you just joined us, welcome to 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Solent. Adrian Harms, Kevin James in lovely sunshine here on the south coast. The clouds seem to be melting away, lots of blue sky around. Sussex batting first, having lost the toss. 173 for 5, as Kevin was saying. Tom Alsop's been a bit starved of the strike last couple of overs. He's on 19 off 11 balls. Nathan McAndrew on 4. The men out, Harrison Wall for 39, Daniel Hughes without scoring, Tom Clark for 37, James Coles for 46, and Danny Lamb for 22. James Fuller's going to bowl his fourth and final. No, it's Chris Wood, I'm sorry. Around the wicket, bowls to Alsop, who hammers that down the ground. He's going to pick up a boundary, is Tom Alsop. It was drilled very straight, almost gun barrel straight down the ground, all the way along the floor. And Alsop picks up a boundary. He goes to 23, 177 for 5. I thought the long on was a little straighter, which is why I hesitated, but the ball fair raced away down the slope here at Hove. And Alsop goes to 23 off of 12, 177 for 5. In the 19th over, Chris Wood, who's bowled 3 very fine overs prior to this, 1 for 15. He's in, bowls to Alsop, pulls away on the leg side. That's a good shot by Tom Alsop. A little too short from Chris Wood, and Tom Alsop tucked inside the line and belted the ball through backward square leg for 4 runs. Nice shot. He goes to 27, 181 for 5.
He's played some very strong shots. He looks very strong, doesn't he? Really? Probably almost stronger than he was at Hampshire. I mean, he's hit the ball hard here. And
he has worked very hard in his game. What you hear around the Sussex camp is just how hard he has worked on his game, particularly over the winter months with Ashley Wright, Luke's brother, and Grant Flower. And he's at it again, and he drills that one away. It was slightly over pitched, but he's absolutely belted that one away through extra cover. It's 3 consecutive boundaries for Tom Alsop. He goes to 31, 185 for 5. That was a good shot.
It was, yeah. Wood's just under pitched that one. It's gone for the Yorker. It's just ended up a juicy half volley outside off stump there for Alsop. Fielders are up in front of the square.
Alsop waits. Wood is coming over the wicket to the left-handed Alsop, who just waits. There's a slight change in the field. Now the deep backward point has come up inside the 30-yard circle. They posted a long off. James Vince, the skipper.
This has got to be full.
Literally down below us. And comes Wood. Bowls, well bowled, right up in the block hole, and Alsop just plays that to exactly that fielder who come up to backward point. Alsop goes to 32, 186 for 5. Just a shout out to the Sussex Cricket Museum. If you're listening on the ground and you want something to do during the interval, if you pop into the museum, there's a fantastic collection of photographs from a photographer by the name of Arthur Smallwood, who used to be a window cleaner, can you believe, Kevin? But he was a photographer as well. Used to develop the photos in his bath at home, and there's some magnificent photographs of all sorts of players who have played at Hove down the years. So Garfield Sobers, Ian Chappell, Jeff Boycott. It's a real who's who. Lance Gibbs. It's a really good exhibition, and if you want to have a look, please go into the museum and do so. In comes Wood, bowls, slow delivery, wide of the off stump, and it's too wide, and let go by Nathan McAndrew. And it'll be a wide ball, more to the total. which goes to 187 for 5. There's a groan from the corporate hospitality away to our right-hand side, which might mean there's been a close effort in the football. I think people are watching the football and the cricket at the same time. We're concentrating on the cricket as Chris Wood is in. Bowls to Nathan McAndrew, who eases that one down towards deep backward point. Picks up a single, and that's all it'll pick up. Sussex goes to 188 for 5. One more ball remaining in the over because there was a wide. And Wood will be desperate to get out of this over without too much more damage. What have we had off the over so far? 12, 13, 14, 15 off the over. He's coming over the wicket to Tom Alsop. Fielders on the offside just shielding their eyes against the sun as Wood is in bolt. Good delivery, right up in the block hole, played into the onside. Now the think about taking two here will Sussex. That's well run by Tom Alsop, who's very quick between the stumps. The ball barely made it, more than 2 wickets away, cut wickets away from the actual wicket we're using. But as the fielders were set back, he was able to scamper through for a couple of runs. So end of the over, 190 for 5, Alsop 34, McAndrew on 5.
Incredible, that's gone for 17, that over.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of really good Yorkers in that as well. Just shows how easy it is to disappear for a few runs. Got another email here which just highlighted something which I didn't know, and actually a story that came out a couple of days ago. Michael Douglas Biswell has emailed sunandcricket@gmail.com, says, wonderful to listen to the commentary of cricket, even the crash bang wallop variety. It's a shame that John Stevenson, the former Hampshire captain, has thrown in the towel at Essex. It will always be a small ground with big dreams but no showers, he says. I didn't realise, I've just looked that up. John Stevenson resigned as chief executive a couple of days ago.
Right, I didn't realise that either.
Essex, no. Yep. And it says it's a cost-cutting measure. So it sounds like that he perhaps didn't really want to go, but anyway, here's the last over. 190 for 5, quite sad. It's Brad Wheel to bowl it, length ball, and McAndrew tries to smack that way through extra cover and misses it. Goes through to Ben McDermott. That's a real shame. I know Essex have got real money problems, but as one or two counties, but yeah, to lose your job like that as a chief exec is a real shame. Former Essex player as well, but came to Hampshire as a captain for a few years.
He's a big fella, Nathan McAndrew, you know. When you stand next to an interviewing cabin, it's like sort of interviewing a lock forward. Yeah, he's a big fella, and he hits it a long way.
He's 5 off 4 currently as Wheel bowls. Now he's got hold of that one, and that's sailing to backward a point. Hasn't quite where he's aimed it, but he's got 6. Now that's rather thick outside edge. He was aiming it over extra cover. The umpire's just waiting for the signal. I can tell him it's 6. Yeah, landed about a yard, maybe just under that, over the rope.
They're asking the fielders. Umpire Devlin was asking the field. Yeah, they've just signaled. Well done.
Yeah, James Fuller just signalling to the umpire, saying 6.
Yeah. Just about crept over the rope, didn't it?
Well, it just shows you how strong he is, because that's a thick outside edge. That's gone for 6. 196 for 5 then. As Wheel comes down the hill again in the last over. McAndrew gets a good Yorker and he works that out into the deep. There'll be 2 as Benny Howell comes round from third to do the fielding, and McAndrew now moves on to 13 and Sussex on to 198 for 5. There are 3 balls left in this last over. Yeah,
I think, you know, having been asked to bat first, Sussex would have taken this. I mean, Tamal Mills said that he would have batted first, but it's certainly you know, it's by no means insurmountable, but it's a good total.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's going to be tough, that's for sure, for a side that's not exactly in the best of form. Hits it up in the air. This should be called at extra cover. Vince is underneath it, and he's taken that safely. The sun would have been in his eyes there a little while, but it's safe enough. And McAndrew goes for a cameo 13, 198 for 6.
Good catch, actually, because it went up a long, long way, and you're dead right. He's looking directly into the west, directly into the sun, which, as we peep out of our commentary box, is really bright. We're not complaining. We haven't seen much sun down here in the last few weeks. Third catch from James Vince. And a good catch as well. And you never know, these things can change games, can't you? I mean, Nathan McAndrew, the last 3 balls could easily go 6-6-4.
Oh gosh, yeah, you don't want that.
He did that at the Aegeus as well.
I'm just looking, so Sussex here this year in the game so far, Gloucestershire got 167 for 8, didn't they, and lost.
Yes.
Well, that was the last ball game, actually, wasn't it? Sussex got that off the last ball.
Yes.
First game. Also here, Surrey got 184 for 8, but won that one. Surrey collapsed to 130. That's wrapped on the pad as it goes out on the leg side. The new batter is Carson. One of the 2 changes in the Sussex side for that one. There's some cheers, obviously not for the cricket.
Perhaps England have scored in the football.
And the game against Glamorgan here with Duckworth Lewis. Glamorgan won with 235 for 6. Oh, no, Sussex got 201, didn't they, against Kent here, and won by 31.
Yes.
So
and then lost to Glamorgan on
230.
then Glamorgan made 235. Duckworth Lewis.
It sounds like 200. You're going to win more, and you're going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, relatively short boundaries, quick outfield. I mean, Sussex have got Tamal Mills, who's in terrific form, and Ollie Robinson playing tonight, so it won't be an easy chase.
No, certainly won't. Last ball coming up then. And it's Tom Alsop to face, who's on 34 from 16 against his old county. Here's Brad Wheel then. He's across his stumps and he whips that away on the leg side to the one man on the boundary on the far side. They're going to take 2. Should be run out. It's not a great throw. Oh, he is run out. Ben McDermott just underarming the ball onto the stumps. So the second not completed, but the first one is. So Sussex go in at 200 for 6.
Yes, indeed. Well, welcome back to Hove. Apologies to our listeners on 5 Sports Extra. I think got a rendition of the Soul Limbo music, which is always worth a listen to. So apologies if you weren't hearing any output on 5 Sports Extra. I can tell you though that myself, Adrian Harms, and Kevin James are back with you here at Hove, where Hampshire need 201 if they're going to beat Sussex in this T20 blast. Sussex asked to bat here this evening. James Cole's top scoring with 46, Harrison Ward 39, Tom Alsop 35. So runs all the way down the order for Sussex. In terms of bowling, well, maybe the pick of the bowlers, James Fuller, who bowled 3 overs, just took 2 for 20, and Chris Wood 4 overs, 1 for 32. Now it's going to be Ollie Robinson who's going to open the bowling for Sussex from the C end of the ground. He missed the game against Glamorgan on Friday night, which Sussex lost. But he's back. Apparently had a back niggle, but he's okay today. He's bowled with an excellent economy rate in the power play, just over 6 and over, and he'll be hoping to do so today. But he's coming into bowl to James Vince, 1 slip in place, as in comes Robinson, running away from us under the floodlights at Hope. He's bowls to James Vince, who works that one down to short fine leg, and there is no run.
It looks like that's nipped back straight away. That looked a really good ball. Vince looked like he was hurried on that one a little bit, and he's also a little bit down on runs this year. James Vince got to this point, he's only scored 152 so far, averaging 25. His strike rate is down as well at 124. His career, he strikes at 134.
Robinson up the hill, bowls to Vince, who's looking to play that one through the offside. It came off the inside edge of the bat, and he picks up a single through square leg, but it was enough for Ollie Robinson to put his hands in the air. James Vince picks up a single, so Hampshire are on their way, needing 201 to win. They need to score at just over 10 and over to do so. And if Hampshire were to win, they would be within 2 points of those quarter-final places. A win for Sussex will put them in a very good place in terms of qualification for the quarter-finals. A game coming up tomorrow at Canterbury against Kent, and then Essex on Saturday. Sorry, Friday against Kent. In comes Robinson, bowls, drilled to mid-off by McDermott. There could be a run out here. Down the wicket is McDermott. Throw comes in from Tamel Mills. The bells are whipped off, and McDermott is gone. And that's a suicidal run out. A good bit of fielding by Tamel Mills. The ball was played to McDermott at mid-off. It was his call. He came halfway down the wicket. James Vince sent him back. The throw came in from Tamel Mills. John Simpson whipped off the bails. Well, that's a bonus wicket for Sussex, and McDermott is on his way without scoring.
Well, there's a mistake there somewhere along the line. It wasn't the best throw for Mills.
No, it wasn't.
Simpson did particularly well to pick that up on the half volley and get the bails off, but it's just not working. Whether it's the partnership, poor shots, or there's just poor communication between those two. The partnership this year has just not fired at all. Ben McDermott is still short of 100 runs in total in this year's competition, and his average is right down at 15, and his strike rate is right down at 123. My word, he's really struggling in this year's competition. Maybe that wasn't his fault, but you're right, it was his call. It's gone to extra cover, but
yeah,
Vince felt that he was never going to make it.
Well, he sent him back, and McDermott was fairly comfortably run out in the end. The throw from Tamel Mills, you're quite right though, Kevin, it was a smart bit of keeping by John Simpson, who took that ball low down and whipped off the barrel. So it was always going to be a difficult task for Hampshire. Made even more difficult with McDermott out. Oh, we've got a bird just outside of our commentary box who's now disappeared. Robinson runs away from us. Hampshire 1 for 1 in a bowls to the new man, who is Tom Prest, who's beaten outside the off stump, and Ollie Robinson yet again in the power play. He always looks to hit the top of off stump, Ollie Robinson, and he's just nibbling the ball around a little bit, as Kevin was saying.
That one's just gone straightened with the arm there. You can see the wrist coming down the inside of the ball. A couple of induckers to Vince, and then that one just shaped away.
Robinson, 25 on the back of his blue shirt, is in bowls to Tom Preston. Preston's down the road driving as far as Tamel Mills, who comes in very quickly from mid-off and fields. It is deceiving with Tamel Mills, because although he bowls left arm, he throws right-handed, so that might have confused Ben McDermott perhaps, although I'm sure he probably would have known that.
I think you could be right. You know, you're talking of split-second decisions, and you see it. You know Tamel Mills bowled left arm. You don't, maybe he doesn't know he threw it in wide. Maybe it was Vince that knew that and McDermott that didn't.
Either way, Hampshire are 2 for 1 in the opening over. Robinson in and bowls to Vince, who struck around about the thigh pad. The ball bounces in front of him, and that is an excellent over from Ollie Robinson. He's just conceded the 2 runs. The wicket came courtesy of a run out, and not for the first time this season. Sussex are off to a good start in the field thanks to Ollie Robinson. The Hawks are 2 for 1 after 1 over.
Well, on that showing, Robinson's going to be difficult to get away. Hampshire need to score at 10 and over here, and you get 10 runs off Robinson at the moment. That looks particularly difficult. A bit like we saw the first couple of overs from Chris Wood. Really struggled to get a bat on it, did Sussex, and Hampshire the same there. That looked more inside leg to me, to Vince, and that looked a painful one as well. Who we got here? We got
James Coles.
Well, this is an interesting one, isn't it? So you've got some slow left arm on a pitch which probably still is giving the bowlers a bit of help. He's coming into Tom Prest, short, pulled away on the leg side, and that'll be 4. Fired in on leg stump, and Prest was quickly onto that one.
That was a bit of a gimme, to be honest, wasn't it? That was a long hop down the leg side, and Prest wasn't going to miss out on an opportunity like that.
Probably, it's quite interesting. There wasn't much help for the bowlers coming down the hill. I was just wondering if, from the seam bowler's point of view, there just seems to be a bit more in this pitch, bowling up the hill, which is maybe why the spinner's in early. And here's Coles again, then fires that one in, and Prest works that away wide of Minon. Doesn't really time it. They'll come back for 2 though. Vince is running to the danger end, home, and Prest moves on to 7 off just 4 deliveries, and it's 8 for 1 Hampshire, chasing 201 for victory. It is a stiff target, even for a good wicket hove. Coles again bowls, and Prest goes over the top, but not enough, and it's caught. Simple catch mid-on. An absolute dolly in the end. Tried to give himself a bit of room, just tried to ease it over the top, just didn't time it at all. And that is a very, very simple catch. Soft dismissal. Hampshire 2 down with 8 on the board.
Yeah, you're right. Didn't time it at all, did it? It just sailed its way to mid. I'm just trying to see who took the catch. I think was that Nathan McAndrew? Just a little way down in the distance. Nonetheless, it was a simple chance, and 2 wickets go down in the opening 2 overs. So not an ideal start for the Hawks. They'll at least be reassured by the sign that James Vince is still there, Kevin.
Well, yeah, you always try and find positives out of anything, don't you, really? But it's a horrible start.
Yeah.
When your overseas player is back in the hutch, having been run out with a mix-up between the 2. And he hasn't had a chance to really get going, hasn't had a chance to face any bowling, just the 1 ball. They hit out to extra cover. Now Tom Prest, who's easing himself back in the side after injury.
It was Tom Clark, sorry, who took the catch.
Clark. Now, a man walking to the crease. Joe Weatherly is in a little bit of form. Can't say that about too many of the Hampshire batters. 240 runs, and he's averaging 48 by a country mile. Hampshire's top average in this competition. And
he batted well down at the Aegeus. 68 not out he finished on. James Vince made 53. So these 2 have got previous.
Yeah, big 2. These 2. That's Coles bowls, and Welly's on the back foot, steers that to backward a point, fielded by Mills. He's everywhere in the field, isn't he? Tell old Mills.
Yes.
Hey, captain's put himself wherever the ball's going. 2 balls left of over number 2. Coles just tinkering around with his field somewhat on the offside. He's ready as Weatherly drives slightly upper sleek, quickly to mid-off. No chance of a single. Looking to go aerial there. Both mid-on and mid-off are up. That's what Tom Prest was looking at. Thought that was the way to go in the power play. Just didn't execute the shot as well as he might have done. Let's come back in at Weatherly. Gets tucked up but works it away square on the leg side for a single. That's another good over from a Sussex point of view. 9 for 2 Hampshire, and already in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, and Sussex will be pleased that James Codd recovered in that over, because the first ball was a poor delivery down the leg side, and Tom Prest was able to help himself to a boundary. But James Cole's recovering, and the other 5 balls just going for 3 runs. Ollie Robinson's going to carry on from the C end here at Hove on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harms, Kevin James here at Hove. Floodlights on, a fairly sparse crowd. Perhaps as you would expect, this would normally be packed out, but not with football on tonight, as in comes Robinson, bowls and swung away down to fine leg by Weatherly. That's his first boundary. Good shot.
Yeah, that's his go-to shot, that. Joe Weatherly just puts the foot down the line of the ball or just outside the off stump and just swings across it. The ball inevitably goes around that square area, either in front or behind.
13 for 2. Run rate required is 10.5 and over. Duckworth Lewis, I don't think we're going to need it tonight, but it's always a reasonable guide. Is 37 at the moment. Yeah. But as I say, I think we're clear. I'm looking to the west where the weather's coming from. There's a beautiful sunset and lots of blue sky, so I don't think weather's going to be an issue as Robinson runs away from us. In and bowls to Weatherly. Down the outside, that's going to be 4 more. I'm not sure if that flicked off the pad. We'll have to wait for the signal from... Oh, it's signal as 4 wides. So it clearly didn't touch anything. So Ollie Robinson, who's been very economic bowling in the powerplay for Sussex, going for a boundary, and now 4 wides.
How many did that over go for when he bowled at Leicestershire?
43.
1 over in the Championship.
Yeah.
That was, what, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yes, it was. Extraordinary innings from Louis Kimber. Yeah, really was. Robinson in. Bowls. And Weatherly's caught behind, and Robinson gets his reward. No, he doesn't. Weatherly's not going anywhere. We were fooled. Umpire Chantry wasn't. It looked like he... Well, I think the ball did a little bit there. But Simpson, everybody was up. And Ollie Robinson thought he'd got his man, but Joe Weatherly was going absolutely nowhere, and Jack Chantry agreed with him. 18 for 2. Good delivery, though, by Robinson.
Yeah, I'm just watching that again. That's nipped back a fraction. I may just have flicked the pad on the way through to the keeper.
Weatherly waits. He's on 5. Robinson in bowls, and Weatherly this time comes down the wicket looking to drive, and he's beaten on the outside edge. Lovely bit of bowling by Robinson, taken by Simpson, and there is no run. Yeah, what didn't get a lot of attention in the national press when Robinson went for 43 was that the other 32 overs he bowled in the match, he took 5 for 98 and bowled very well. And he then came back after lunch, having had a mauling from Louis Kimber, and picked up the important wicket of Ben Cox, which ultimately led Sussex to victory. Now, interestingly here, Tom Alsop has gone into slip. And Sussex have... Oh, they have got 2 men outside the circle. They've got a fine leg and a deep square leg. As in comes Robinson. Bowls to Weatherly, who plays this firmly to mid-on. It'll be fielded on the edge of the 30-yard circle by Nathan McAndrew. So Weatherly goes to 6 and Hampshire to 19 for 2 at the end of the 3rd over. Sussex were 19 for 1. So in terms of runs scored, no difference between the sides at the minute, but Hampshire have lost 2 wickets. Ben McDermott run out without scoring, and Tom Prest caught by Tom Clark off the bowling of the spin of James Coles for 7. Robinson runs away from us. In and bowls to Vince, who clips this one away. That's a nice shot by James. Just erring in length there was Ollie Robinson, and he won't be pleased with himself. Clipped away down to fine leg, just tucked inside the line did James Vince, and the ball races away down to the boundary for 4 runs. Total goes to 23 for 2. A rare loose delivery from Robinson, who's been expensive in this over. What have we had? A 4 wides, another 4, 13 off the over.
Yeah, he's just angling that one in, but he's started it too straight.
Robinson away from us. In and bowls to Vince, who defends onto the onside. There is no run. So decent over as far as Hampshire are concerned. 23 for 2 at the end of it, an over which went for 14 runs with James Vince on 5. Joe Weatherly is on 6.
Yeah, they need that, Hampshire. They need some sort of momentum. 2 early wickets to knock them back. They don't need too many setbacks. When you're chasing a total of 200 plus, doesn't matter what the wicket's like, what the ground's like, the conditions, you need most of your innings to go your way. And it's not been a great start. That's probably the first over where things have maybe turned. Need to keep doing that, folk. This Coles is going to continue with his slow left arm spinners. Wrapped on the pad there, Weatherly. Ooh. Vince is going to call him through. Realises that Weatherly wasn't really in a position to accept the call, and fortunately Vince early enough turns and gets himself back behind the line. 23 for 2 then. Into the 4th over. Coles again short, outside off stump. Weatherly only finds the fielder at backward a point. That's Danny Lamb. Sunlight beginning to go. Coles again coming down the hill. Although he's on the flat bit actually. He's 3 paces. Now he goes big over the top, Joe Weatherly, and that is 6 runs at the top end of the ground. You've got to look for that shot with mid on and mid off up. You have to.
Beautifully timed though by Weatherly. I mean, he didn't. I got the impression when he hit it, he didn't try to hit the cover off the ball. It was just beautifully timed. Lovely shot.
It was. Weatherly moves on to 12 from 10. Weatherly's Hampshire's highest run scorer with 240 before today. James Vince with just over 150, the nearest to him. Shows you just how much the other batters have struggled, and Weatherly has been the more consistent. Coles again then into Weatherly. Weatherly goes over mid-wicket. Nobody out there, and that'll be 1 bounce for 4.
Yeah, good shot, wasn't it? With the field up.
Slog sweep again from Weatherly that goes a lot squarer this time, a lot straighter. 33 for 2. Weatherly moves on to 16. Coles in again and bowls, shorter this time. Bit of bounce. Weatherly just turns that away on the onside, jogs through for a single, and moves on to 17. Where's the old Sharks gone? No, they're not old Sharks. I can see one of the blue. Oh,
oh yes, I can see the one in the blue. It's by the Sussex Museum.
They've had an argument.
They have?
Yeah, they were inseparable during the Sussex innings, and now just the blue shark remains. The pink shark nowhere to be seen currently. Cole's just taking his time here, so is Vince, ahead of this next delivery. Left arm round the wicket again, and Vince slog sweeps, gets wrapped on the pad. Shout from Coles mainly for an LBW. I think Vince was a long way down the pitch there. 34 for 2, then 4 gone. From here, Hampshire need another 167, is that?
Yes, 167. At the same stage, Sussex were 39 for 1. If you're just joining us, perhaps driving home somewhere or just tuning in for the first time this evening, welcome to Hove. The floodlights are on here on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harms and Kevin James, your commentary team for this clash of 2 sides on the south coast. Sussex making 200 for 7 in their 20 overs. James Coles top scoring with 46. Hampshire at one stage 8 for 2, but now 34 for 2 as Ollie Robinson is in, bowls to Weatherly, who drives beautifully. What a lovely shot that is. That was an extra cover drive of pure class, and that wouldn't have been out of place in the Championship, Kevin. That was beautiful. Textbook stuff, slightly overpitched by Robinson and drilled through the covers by Weatherly. Magnificent shot. He goes to 21 and Hampshire to 38 for 2.
Yeah, it just shows you don't have to whack the cover off the ball, do you, to get the speed off the bat there. His body weight and his head were just in perfect position.
Probably the shot of the day, to be honest, or the shot of the evening, I should say.
Technically the best shot.
Yes,
yeah.
Beautiful shot. Robinson in again, bowls to Weatherly, short, pulled away. Oh, it's been put down! That could be really expensive. It was down the leg side, it was pulled away by Weatherly. It was low to the left of, now who's that all the way down the distance? It might be Danny Lamb.
Yeah, it was.
Pulled away, it went to his left hand side. I thought he'd caught it. I think he would have expected to have caught it. And the chance has gone a begging. Weatherly gets a life on 21.
Went very flat.
It did.
Got there quickly.
Yeah, having got there, I think he'd be disappointed to have put it down. Robinson in again, bowls to Weatherly, slower delivery, work to backward point, and there is no run.
He's got a lovely easy action, Ollie Robinson, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just a nice full 360 degree arc with his bowling arm. Just a lovely sort of easy action and just a little bit of away movement, a little bit of in. Just looks as they could bowl that sort of stuff all day.
Robinson turns, comes into bowl to Weatherly, who's 23 not out. In and bowls, short, pulled away by Weatherly, down to Lamb, who's down at fine leg, makes no mistake, fields the ball, he goes to 24, the total to 42. I got to 42, no, 41 for 2. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a flock of seagulls. I don't know whether you call about 20 seagulls flying around the ground a flock. You could probably hear them in our effects microphone.
Does it mean the tide's in or anything?
I don't know. It probably means someone's got some fish and chips. It's for Robinson. 5th ball of his 3rd over. He's in and bowls to Vince, who just eases that through backward point and picks up a single. He goes to 6 off 7 deliveries, and the Hawks to 42 for 2. I mean, there was an article I read in the paper last week in the Telegraph about Ollie Robinson suggesting that his international career was done. But you know, he's only 30 years of age. He's a fine bowler, and I think that's a bit early to write him off, if I'm being perfectly honest. Runs away from us. Comes in and bowls to Weatherly, who's on 24. He's in and bowls. Weatherly cuts this one away through backward point. Nicely timed again by Weatherly. It's racing out towards the deep backward point boundary. Good bit of fielding out there by James Coles. Prevents the ball going for a boundary. But it is the end of the over. Weatherly on 26. Vince is on 6. The Hampshire Hawks are 44 for 2 at the end of the 5th over. At the end of the 5th over, Sussex were 50 for 2. So not an awful lot in it.
No, certainly isn't. And Vince is having a quiet time out there at the moment, so you feel that there is another couple of gears from him if he can last long enough. I'm just having a look. Ollie Robinson's last Test match was back in February in the 4th Test against India.
Yes. Yeah. And he's played. You know, he spoke very candidly at the start of the season at press day, saying that, you know, he knew he had to get fit. He knew it was, you know, a really. I think he described it as make or break season. But he's bowled really well in the Championship for Sussex, and he's bowled very well in this. But obviously down the pecking order at the minute.
Yeah, so the captain, Tanal Mills, left arm fast down the hill. That'll help him get going, won't it, as he bowls short. Pulled away by Vince, kept down nicely as the ball makes its way out to deep square leg. And Vince moves on to 7, 45 for 2. Tanal Mills with the most wickets for Sussex in this year's competition. He's got 19. McAndrew is second on 13. Tamal's 19 wickets has come at 14 apiece. Playing his 93rd T20 for Sussex tonight.
He's been in terrific form.
He has. Comes in again and bowls to Weatherly this time. There's a low full toss, slower ball as it's worked out to mid-on for a single. And Weatherly moves on to 27 and it's 46 for 2. He'll quicker ones, won't he? And he bowls a very good disguised slower ball, which looks as though it comes out at the same pace because the arm comes over just as quick.
Yeah. No, he's been excellent. I think he was a very good choice as captain as well. Pre-season there was, you know, some thought that he might have gone to the World Cup for the T20. In fact, I think a lot of people probably thought he should have done, to be honest. But England's loss was Sussex's gain, and that was the way Tamal looked at it. He said he was very proud to captain the county, and he's done a very good job.
Down the hill again to Vince on the line of middle and leg, turned away by Vince for a single.
And he's very positive as well, Kevin. He came on to commentary a couple of weeks ago and he was saying that he rang all the players. He was away a lot during the winter, but he rang all the players, did Zoom calls about where they wanted to bat, what they wanted to do, and he said, you know, my objective is to win it. So I thought it was good. You know, whether Sussex will or not, that's another matter, but he's a very positive man, Tamal Mills, and I think that's rubbed off on the team, his positivity.
Yeah, that's good. Players feel wanted. It's a massive plus as he comes down the hill again and bowls to Weatherly. Weatherly turns that away for a single. He'll have to hurry here, Vince. Throw comes in at the batter's end, keeper's end even, and he's home. Tom Alsop there looking to run his former captain out. 48 for 2. Yeah, Surrey winners, or last time they were winners, 2009. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and particularly when you think of some. I mean, Sussex got to, probably should have won it in 2018, to be honest, with Jofra Archer, Chris Jordan, David Visa, Luke Wright in the side. Got to final day and lost to Worcestershire in the final.
Vince faces Mills. Vince just turns that away on the leg side. I think they've got a little glove on that, or just flicked his hip on the way through. Never quite sure what pace that's coming through. This is what Mills does. Very clever disguise of pace. His top pace is very quick indeed.
Yes, it is.
48 for 2, which of course is what you're always looking for. And then anything short of that sometimes is difficult to pick up, especially in this light. We're in that half light.
Yes, it is.
Now. It's probably a good time, even better time for Mills to bowl. He comes in and bowls to Vince once more. Quicker ball. Vince works it away quickly, square on the leg side. That's well fielded, wide on the boundary.
James Coles.
Front of the members, they enjoyed that one. Look at them. They look like they've got a few thick coats on there in the seats. 49 for 2, 6 gone. That's the power play done.
Now I can see Finn Hudson Prentice is on the field for Sussex. Now he was the 12th man, so I'll have to have a look and see who's not on the field. Talking about the temperature, during the break a cameraman came in and he said, "Oh, it's cold out there." I think he'd forgotten his coat. So it certainly is a chilly evening here, but the great news is it's dry. And we are going to get a change of bowling because Ollie Robinson, having bowled 3 overs for 26, is out of the attack, and it's Nathan McAndrew, the Australian, who's over here for the T20 group stages and 2 county championship matches, is going to bowl from the C end of the ground, coming into bowl to James Vince, who's on 9. The Hawks 49 for 2 at the end of the 6th. At the same stage, Sussex were 57 for 2. In comes McAndrew, fast medium, bowls pulled away. Now is he going to be caught? It's sailing away. It's sailing away for 6 runs into the blue seats at the far end of the ground. James Vince, did he top edge that, or did he?
Yeah, that was a heart-stopping moment for a while because that was a top edge. But the ball, fortunately for Vince, just kept going.
He did. And it's sailed away. They're not the biggest boundaries here at Hove, but that's sailed away over fine legs head for 6 runs. Vince goes to 15. 50 up for Hampshire, 55 for 2. What was the score at the end of the 6th? Sorry, it was 49 for 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sussex had 57 at that stage.
Vince waits. McAndrew in his blue shirt, number 43 on the back, comes into bowl to James Vince. He's in and bowls, and Vince defends, just nudges that one to point and picks up a single fielded there by Ollie Robinson. 1 more to the total. Vince to 16, 56 for 2.
I know we always say C end here, but how far do you weigh is the sea behind us, do you think?
It's about 500 yards behind.
500?
Yeah, so it's not,
It's not far, is it?
No.
Because it's always lovely when you come down the main road before you turn left to the ground and you always see the sea.
Yeah.
You come on that main road, you see the sea.
Yeah, and if you come over the downs at the top, you can look out and see the coast on a lovely day. In comes McAndrew, bowls to Weatherly. Weatherly nudges that onto the onside and picks up a single. Joe Weatherly, he goes to, let's go up very quickly on the scoreboard, he goes to 29 and Hampshire to 57 for 2. And so we're going to get a lovely sunset, actually, Kevin. There's some high-level cloud around and some wispy cirrus cloud as well. It was quite dramatic here at Hove with the lights on.
Look at you, your weather.
Yeah, do you like that?
Yeah, cirrus cloud.
Yeah, that means it's going to rain in a couple of days. I think they're called mare's tails.
Is it?
Yeah. That is so sad, isn't it? In comes McAndrew over the wicket, bowls down the wicket. He's hammered away. Is he going to be caught? It's gone between. Oh, the 2 fielders are going to collide. Oh, well, fortunately for James Vince, the ball fell between Tamal Mills and Daniel Hughes. I thought for a moment the pair were going to collide. Vince has gone through for a couple of runs. But I think between them, the 2 fielders were looking at each other, and in the end, neither of them decided to go for it.
Hughes, I think, just fractionally took his eye off the ball, knowing that Mills was close. I think that just gave enough time for the ball to go to ground.
McAndrew in again, bowls to James Vince, who nudges that one to backward point, fielded by Ollie Robinson, who throws at the stumps. Backed up by Finn Hudson-Prentice, who then throws to wicketkeeper John Simpson. A bit of a relay throwing from Sussex. 59 for Chum. Just trying to see who's off the field here for Sussex. It might be Jack Carson, the off spinner, recalled to the side tonight. But for the time being, it's McAndrew. 10 runs off the over so far. He'll want to get out of this over without any further damage. He's in and bowls to Vince, and Vince is up on his toes and steers that classily through the covers. He picks up a single footed by James Coles, who throws right over the top of the stumps to John Simpson. It is the end of the over. Hampshire Hawks are 60 for 2 in reply to the Sussex's total of 219 to Vince, 29 to Weatherly. Hampshire needing another 141 to win. They need to score at 10.8 and over. They're currently going at 8.6.
Yeah, so they're 6 behind the same stage Sussex were, but there's no let-up really in the whole of the Sussex innings. Hampshire can't afford to have a bad over or a couple of quiet overs. They really have got to keep going at the same pace. It won't be easy.
I think that's Jack Carson.
It's Carson coming on, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So he can't have got off the field, can he?
It's Carson with his off breaks, one of the 2 changes in the Sussex side. Vince guides that into the gap through backward a point. There won't be 2 there. Is that Tom Clark down there away to my right?
Yes, he took wickets. There was a T20 second team match against Middlesex this week. I think Middlesex were bowled out for 57 at Horsham, and Sussex lost like 7 wickets getting them. So I don't know what was going on there.
61 for 2. 23 years of age, Carson bowls, and it's very flat, short outside the off stump, and Weatherly along the ground hammers that out to deep cover, and Weatherly moves on to 30. That's from 21 deliveries. He's been very, very consistent this year, Joe Weatherly. Hampshire will need him to step up once more. Carson in again, bowls, pulled away by James Vince. Now there are two players out there on the fence. One of those is just behind square on the leg side, goes to him. And Vince moves on to 21, 63 for 2.
Just trying to see whether it's Harrison Ward who's off the field for Sussex. I think it might be, so that's not going to affect the bowling in any way, the opening bat for Sussex.
Carson again, bowls, that's pulled away
Shot
by Weatherly on the front foot, swept away, and that's 4 runs. Two fielders out there, backward a point and at fairly square deep mid-wicket, and it just takes a firm hit. As long as you hit it between the fielders, a good firm hit is always going for 4.
Good placement, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Two fielders out there.
Weatherly on to 34 now, 67 for 2, Hampshire. Those early setbacks of McDermott and Tom Prest, 0 and 7 respectively, started to fade into the distance. These two have now put on 59. There's down the wicket comes Weatherly, hits it in the air. Has he got enough on it? Down to deep mid-off, and that's out. And Weatherly goes. Good catch at the far end of the ground. I think he was trying to go wide.
I think it's Tom Alsop who's taken the catch. Way down in the distance.
Yeah, looks like he just tried to work it wide of mid-off. Didn't quite place it where he would have liked. The ball just hanging in the air. Alsop's done really well there, getting round. Toby Albert is the new batter.
Yes, the Sussex fielding has been very good this season. Paul Farbrace has said just how hard Sussex have worked on their fielding. They did put Joe Weatherly down, put down by Danny Lamb when he was on 21, but also coming a long way around the boundary there and making absolutely no mistakes. So Jack Carson picking up a wicket in his first over, just as Hampshire were beginning to get them, well, by no means out of it, but an important wicket for Sussex, picking up a third wicket just as these two are looking to establish a really good partnership.
59 they put on.
Well, not easy when you come in at 8 for 2.
That's for sure. So Toby Albert playing his 31st T20 tonight for Hampshire, facing the off-spin of Carson. Bowls and on the back foot there, Albert just plays that out on the onside. No run there. So we've had 8 overs. Hampshire have 12 overs left in this game to score another 134 if I can crane my neck around.
Yes. And if you're just joining us, a very good evening. Welcome to Hove. Adrian Harms and Kevin James here on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Solent. Sussex scoring 200 for 7 in their 40 overs. James Cole's top scoring with 46. James Fuller, the pick of the Hampshire bowlers, 3 overs, 2 for 20. In reply, Hampshire have lost McDermott without scoring, Prest for 7, and Joe Weatherly in that over from Jack Carson for 34. Danny Lamb is into the Sussex attack, bowling from the C end of the ground, running up the slope in and bowls to James Vince, and Vince clips this one way firmly down to deep backward square, well fielded out there by Alsop, who's very quickly in off the boundary, gets in the throw, and there is just a single of Vince to 22 off 19. The Hawks are 68 for 3 in the 9th over.
Well, Danny Lamb's been going for 10 and over in this season's competition.
Yes, yeah, and if you remember the game at the Aegeus Bowl, just break off for a moment, in comes Lamb bowls, and looking to drive that one away through the offside is Albert. He gets a thick edge, the ball goes down to third man, and it is just a single, so it goes to 69 for, I mean, it's the utility bowl, isn't it? My apologies. In that final over, Joe Weatherly hit Danny Lamb for 4 successive boundaries. And at one stage, and in the end, I think the final 2 balls were dot balls.
Yep.
But it looked as if Hampshire might secure a dramatic victory. In comes Lamb, over the wicket, bowls, and hammered away. Well, that's gone many a mile. That's 6 runs, and we're going to need a new ball, I think. Heaved away by James Vince over the scoreboard, and that's gone out of the ground. That's a big blow. Goes all the way. He goes to 28, and Hampshire to 75 for 2. And I've no doubt the umpires will be making their way towards the boundary edge to bring out another ball.
Yeah, it was just lifted over, really.
It was.
Wasn't it? Over mid-wicket. It's probably landed near Jofra Archer's flat, hasn't it? Down there. Hasn't he got a flat in that area?
I think he does live around the ground.
Yeah.
I think a few of the players live, relatively close to the ground. A new ball has, well, not a new ball, but a replacement ball, because that's gone many a mile towards the pretty expensive apartments here in Hove. It's an expensive part of the world, and particularly when you're overlooking the cricket ground and the sea. You just about see the sea from those balconies, I'm sure. So, you were saying that Danny Lamb's gone for 10 and over. He's gone for 8 off his first 3 balls. Hampshire to 75 for 3. James Vince on to 28. In comes Lamb, bowls, and Vince is going to get more runs here, down to third man. Not at all where he intended, and it's gone away for 4 runs. There's a misfield down on the third man boundary. Big outside edge. I think, is that all the way? He's a long, long way down in the distance. Either way.
Is that Hudson Prentice or something?
Might be. No, Hudson Prentice is down in front of us here. It looked like a miss. It's a long way in the distance, and we're not far above ground level here. But James Evans goes to 32 off 21. He's starting to motor here, is the Hampshire skipper. 79 for 3 in the 9th. Lamb is in, bowls, and Vince is bowled! And Danny Lamb gets the wicket. James Vince looking to work that one away on the leg side. And Lamb picks up the wicket. And one of the danger men for Hampshire is gone. James Vince is gone for 32, and Hampshire are 79 for 4.
As ever, whether it's Championship, T20, whatever cricket, when James Vince goes, it's a big blow. Danny Lamb has this habit of just coming back, doesn't he, when that ball's just nipped back a fraction on James Vince, who's just trying to play that away on the onside. But as you're saying, you know, like in the utility, he goes for a few runs and then just comes back with something. Dot balls in a very tricky last over at the utility. Here, as James Vince is looking to get after him, he's just produced a really good delivery. James Vince just having a look at the surface as he turned and made his way back to the pavilion.
So, the new man coming to the crease is Benny Howell, former Gloucestershire player. Has played a lot of T20 cricket down the years. And they do back deep. I mean, we've still got James Fuller, Liam Dawson to come. So still plenty of work for Sussex to do. 79 for 4, but the run rate required is just creeping up. It's up to nearly 11 and over. As Lamb is in and bowls, and that was a good delivery. And Howell manages to work that one down to third man and picks up a single. So he's on his way. Howell is on 1, Albert is on 1 at the end of the 9th over. The Hampshire Hawks are 80 for 4. They need another 121 to win in 11 overs at a rate of 11 and over.
Yeah, well, Benny Howell, usually coming in the last few overs, has got a few more overs to bat tonight. Top scorer 17 not out this season. I think that needs to be improved on, probably 6 or 7 times if Hampshire are going to get close to this 201 they need for victory. Carson continuing with his off spin from the Cromwell Road end, bowls. Howell cuts that away on the offside, just a single. Doubles his score onto 2, 81 for 4 at the start of the 10th over. And you know, over 11 and over from here on in. It's 10 and over was tough at the start. 11 when you've lost some big players, even tougher. Just taking time. John Simpson is helping Tamal Mills out with the field, just moving 1 or 2 players around, and Albert works that into gap on the leg side. Runs the first one quickly. They won't get any more though.
It's been a very good signing, John Simpson. Three centuries in the championship, but it's just his experience and, you know, helping out Tamal in terms of, you know, where the field should go.
35 years of age, John Simpson.
Yeah, he is.
Long Middlesex career. About 12 years.
Yeah, but yeah, a few more than that, I think.
Yeah. That's a cutaway by Howell. A little quicker this time, but it's gone straight to the fielder at deep cover.
It's not far away from John Simpson's birthday, actually. In fact, it's on the 13th, so when's that? Saturday, is that right? 11, 12, 13, yeah. And he'll be 36.
No age really. Now Albert goes in the air. This could be caught at deep mid-wicket. Oh, dropped! Oh, and that wasn't difficult.
No, that's James Coles, who's generally got a very good pair of hands. That's a bad drop.
He's gone for the slog sweep there, Toby Albert, and it's just no pace on the shot. Enough to get it out to deep mid-wicket, and, well, you back the fielder to take that every day of the week. A life there for Albert. As Benny Howell goes on the leg side, he's got that more of that one, and that's going for 6. And that's gone in the top tier of the pavilion away to our left. Slog sweep there, but much more out the middle of the bat.
It's interesting, you know, I was talking to Daniel Hughes in the last game here, and he was talking about fielding, and he was annoyed with himself. He said, I let a single go with off the next ball, a 6 got hit, and a similar thing there, isn't it? Really, Albert should have been out, but they get a single, and then Benny Howell hits a big 6. So it's funny how these games can change.
Way to go yet, though. 9 off 4 now, Benny Howell. 90 for 4, Hampshire. As Howell faces Carson once more, and a bit shorter, predictably. Hit to extra cover off the back foot, no run. So we're halfway through the Hampshire innings, if they can last the 20 overs. And they are 90 for 4. 99.
Yes.
Sussex had. So they're up with the runs, but big wickets already.
Yes, indeed. Here on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harms, Kevin James, as our friend in the blue shark outfit, is now dancing around in front of the spectators on the left-hand side. They're having a good time anyway.
Yeah. The pink shark's given up the ghost.
He has.
Gone to the pub.
Run rate required, 11.1. Hampshire's currently going on at 9 and over. In comes Lamb to bowl to Toby Albert. He's in and bowls, and Albert works this one down to third man, picks up a single. From a Hampshire point of view, Kevin, who might provide, you know, who could play the big innings here with big shots to get Hampshire over the line?
Well, you're right, Hampshire do bat deep. You know, it just depends on whose night it is, if indeed there is anybody's night.
Yeah.
But, you know, James Fuller would be an obvious one who's yet to come in. Liam Dawson is having a super season with the bat in one-day cricket.
91 for 4. Lamb is in, bowls, hammered away, and that's going to go all the way for 4 runs down towards third man. Is it going to go? Oh, it looks like a very good stop, actually. They're going to come back for 3. You don't see too many all-run 3s here at Hove. That's a very good bit of fielding, way down in the distance. I think it's the big figure of Nathan McAndrew, who got around very quickly and prevented the boundary. 94 for 4. Howell goes to 12.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to really see what Benny Howell can do yet. Just comes in late on, so. But this might be his chance here.
It might well be. As Lamb runs away from us. In and bowls, hammered away onto the leg side, and that's going to go for 4 runs. A little too short from Danny Lamb. And Tony Albert just tucked inside the line and pulled the ball over wideish mid-wicket for 4 runs. Good shot by Albert. It was there to be hit, and he made sure he hit it. 98 for 4. Albert's 8.
Yeah, he's one youngster that's improved a lot this year in T20. He's only 22 years of age, but he's striking at 131 this year, which is way above what he came into the season on. It's all you can ask, isn't it? Young players to improve.
Totally.
He's a different player in T20 cricket this year.
Lamb in again, bowls to Albert, a slower delivery, and Albert pulls that one around to the leg side. They've taken one. I don't think they'll risk coming back for a second, and indeed Albert slips as he looked to turn, but it was a good bit of fielding by Alsop, and I think he probably wouldn't have got home had he decided to come back for 2. 99 for 4. Albert on 9. How many off this over so far? 9 off the over so far. 2 balls remaining. Lamb, number 10 on the back of his blue shirt, runs away from us, comes into bowl to Benny Howell, who's 12 not out. Howell helps this one down to fine leg and picks up a single way down in the distance. The throw comes in from... It's quite difficult to see the numbers on the back of shirts, and indeed who's fielded it all the way down there.
That was a good ball from Danny Lamb. It was short, and Howell was ready to pounce on that, and in the end they just had to help it down there. He realised that it was a lack of pace on that delivery.
100 up for Hampshire, 100 for 4. In comes Danny Lamb, final ball of the over, pulled away. Again, another slower ball. It's pulled onto the leg side. They think about 2, but there really isn't a second run there. Fielded there by Tom Clark. So the end of the 11th over. Hampshire are 101 for 4. Benny Howell is on 13. Toby Albert is on 10. Hampshire needing another 100 to win in 9 overs. Need to score 11.1 and over. And we're going to have the most glorious sunset here. Kevin, away to our right, there's some sort of low, well, some wispy looking cloud which is slowly turning a lovely red colour as the sun sets over in the west.
It's a shame as a few more people were not here to see it.
Yeah, totally, yeah. Yes.
Smell Mills returns from the Cromwell Road end. He's 1 over. From there was cost just 5. Comes in and bowls, and Albert works that away in the air on the leg side. Runs here, and 1 bounce for 4. in the slot there from Mills. Albert played that nicely away through mid-wicket. And he moves on to 14. Hampshire 105 for 4 in the 12th. Still not out of it yet. Plenty of batting to come.
Yeah.
But they need good overs. They can't afford a quiet over at any stage from here on in. Put too much pressure on the remaining overs and also the remaining batters. Short cut away hard by Albert. One bounce 4. This time on the offside. Nice strike in there from Albert. 2 4s off the first 2 deliveries from the Sussex captain.
Well, good shot, wasn't it, by Toby Outman? I guess the situation is for that in normal circumstances you might think, well, you might want to see off a Tamal Mills because he is so dangerous. But Hampshire don't really have that luxury. But once you've taken 2 4s off the opening 2 balls, it just buys you a bit of time.
He's under pressure as well. Albert is 18 off 10. 109 for 4. Little skip at the top of his mark, as Mills often does. Bowls, slower ball, pulled away, not timed on the leg side. So that'll be a 1. So 9 off 3 balls. That's okay. That's almost where they need to be off this over alone. 110 for 4, and Albert moves on to 19. Brings Benny Howell back on strike. So Weatherly 34, Vince 32, the 2 main scorers in the Hampshire innings so far. They're both back in the pavilion though. Vince is 32 from 22 and Weatherly is 34 from 23. Here's Mills. Bowls to the crouching Benny Howell, full outside the off stump, and Howell's not down with the bat quick enough, as that's one of Mills's quicker deliveries.
Could be an expensive drop, that, you know, of Toby Albert. He was only on 2 when he was put down by James Coles. He's moved on to 19.
Yeah, they'll need a bit of luck from here on in Hampshire yet. Still 90. I can't. There's a concrete.
No, it's not. It's not good, is it? Yeah.
90 something anyway.
91.
Yeah, my maths isn't good enough to just do it off the top of my head. I'd love it to be, but I'm afraid not. Here's Mills again. Bowls, and Howell just gets a length ball. Can't work it into any gap. And in the end, the ball trickles back to Mills. Gets a round of applause.
Yeah.
Realised that Howell was outfoxed there.
I think what's been interesting this year with Tamal Mills skippering the side is that he always seems to know the time to bring himself back. He doesn't save himself necessarily to the end, and recognises when Sussex are under a bit of pressure that he needs to bowl an over or 2. Robinson's still got 1 to bowl.
Yeah. Takes his time.
Yeah.
Comes into Howell once more then, and bowls. Howell gets a quicker one, works that behind square on the offside, and that could split the field. Oh, it has, just. One of the fielders got there, but just palmed it over the rope. Yeah. Nice opening face of the bat there from Benny Howell. Moves on to 17, Hampshire 114 for 4.
I think the Sussex fielder's hurt himself down there, actually. It was Tom Clark who collided, I think, with Danny Lamb, who's just sort of feeling his face. I don't know whether he got, you know, whether Tom Clark's boot sort of flicked him in the face, but they both dived over the line. Either way, that was a good over from a Hampshire point of view, particularly against Tamal Mills. 13 off the over.
Yeah.
At the same stage, at 12 overs, Sussex were 122 for 2. So Hampshire at the moment 8 runs adrift and 2 wickets worse off. Nathan McAndrew is coming back into the attack for Sussex from the sea end of the ground, rolling up the slope. Not a big slope for those of you who don't know the ground. He's only about 1 over. That went for 11 runs. Coming over the wicket to bowl to Toby Albert, who's on 19, and Albert thrashes that one away through the offside, but he just gets a single from a nice looking shot fielded out on the cover boundary by James Coles. Albert goes to 20 off 12. Hampshire 115 for 4 here on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Hampshire, even BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex. Nathan McAndrew chats away to Tamal Mills as he wanders back to his mark. Mills claps his hands, and McAndrew waits, tucks his shirt inside his trousers, his blue shirt, and runs into bowl to Benny Howell. And Howell swings this one away on the leg side, down towards fine leg. They think about 2, but it isn't there. It's a good bit of fielding there. A very good throw coming in all the way down in the distance by Crumbs. That's a long way. Your eyesight might be better than mine, Kevin. I think that's Danny Lamb all the way down there. Prevented the second run. 116 for 4.
37 these two have put on.
Yeah, it's been in quick time. floodlights really have taken effect now as McAndrew is in bowls and hammered away, and that's a big blow, and that's going to go all the way for the maximum. Yep, hammered away over mid-off for 6 runs. Lovely shot by Toby Albert.
Quick bat speed there.
Who's 26 off 13. He's striking at 200 here, Kevin.
Yeah,
which is what Hampshire need.
He is an improved player this year. Important part of Hampshire's batting lineup now.
Well, these two came together when the score was 79 for 4. So as Kevin says, they put on 43 now. As in comes McAndrew, bowls, hammered away onto the onside. Didn't get all of that, did Albert. Got that rather high up on the bat, fielded at deep mid-wicket by Tom Clark, who gets in the throw. Albert looks ruefully at his bat, but he's picked up a single, 9 off the over. Albert goes to 27 off 14, 123 for 4. McAndrew wants a change in the field. He's going to bring up his fine leg inside the circle. At fine leg, and he's moving his mid-off, who was saving one, back onto the boundary. That's the skipper, Tamal Mills. McAndrew again sort of adjusts his shirt, and he's on his way to bowl to Benny Howell. He's on 18, he's in and bowls, and Howell with a swing and a miss. Well, if he'd have connected, that would have ended up on the beach.
Yeah, that's a good slow ball. That's a really clever slow ball. Howell's just too early into the shot. Just gripped a bit on the surface as well. See the fingers cut across the seam.
Just see Ollie Robinson warming up at backward point. He's got one more over up his sleeve. Mills with 2 to bowl. McAndrew, final ball of the over, in and bowls and pulled away, and that's going to go for 6 runs. No doubt about that. Oh, nearly very well held, sir, in the corporate hospitality, but the chance has gone down. But 6 runs, 2 sixes in the over, and Hampshire are keeping pace here with this run chase.
If only you didn't have that 6th pint, that would have gone straight in the hands and stayed there.
Well, if there was £1,000 on offer for catching the ball, if there is sometimes, isn't there, at various grounds around the world, he'd have been disappointed to have dropped that. Toby Albert on 27 off 14, Benny Howell 24 off 13, 129 for 4. That's the 50 partnership up between these two, who are dragging Hampshire back into this match. Need to score at 10.3 and over for the final 7 overs.
Yeah, and they are ahead of Sussex now at the same stage. Sussex were 3 runs behind at this stage, so fantastic partnership here between these two. Getting Hampshire closer and closer. Still a long way to go still though. It's Cole's back with his left arm spin. And he's spoled. And that's the end of Toby Albert swinging away on the leg side. The ball cannon into the stumps. Albert goes for 27 from 15. And it's 129 now for 5.
Well, I guess you have to say it's a good bowling change by Tamal Mills. And James Coles will be relieved to see the back of Toby Albert, because he put Albert down when he just scored 2. And Toby Albert wanders off, and an important wicket for Sussex and an important time with these two going along very nicely.
So that's exactly 50-run partnership.
Yeah, good partnership, wasn't it?
Which came up in 5 overs.
Yeah, just what Hampshire needed. So who's going to be next? It's going to be James Fuller. I could see this going to the wire, you know. I think this is going to be very tight.
Yeah, I mean, without being unkind to Wheelwood and Turner, it's really now, it's going to have to be Howell, Fuller and Dawson now get the majority of these runs if Hampshire are to get over the line. So Fuller, who career-wise strikes at 141, going to face Coles. This season, Fuller's striking at 166. Again, that's high. Coles comes in, and that's worked on the onside. And Fuller is off the mark. I know a couple of the Sussex batters at 170. I mean, you don't see that very often.
No.
But 160 again is right up there at the top end of batters that play this game. He's a very dangerous customer if he gets going. How? Face Coles, and that's a low full toss, hammered away. Has he got enough on it to take it over mid-on? Oh, just, I think. Yes. Oh, I thought the fielder almost had that.
Yes, I agree.
Flinging out a right hand, right on the boundary at the far end.
They're just waiting for the signal. I think it's Nathan McAndrew though out there, and managed to palm it down and maybe stopped it going for 6, you know. It's a long, long way in the distance.
36 for 5 now. How's 28 from 14?
Oh, no, is this a free hit?
Oh, low full toss?
Yes, because it was really over waist high.
Well, didn't look dangerous, but I suppose being a spinner, it doesn't feel dangerous. Comes in again, and Howe's got a free hit. Doesn't quite get hold of that. Runs the first one quickly on the onside. I don't think they'll get two. So not too much damage done from a Sussex point of view. Well bowled, actually. Got it quite full, and Howe was trying to get underneath it and couldn't.
Actually, I think it was Finn Hudson-Prentice who very nearly caught that down the far end of the ground.
So 137 for 5 then. 3 balls left of the 14th. It's Fuller to face. Fuller works that to mid-wicket. Soft dismissal, gone. Oh, I think he was in about 3 minds there, James Fuller, to what to do. Did he turn it away on the leg side for a single? Did he try and lift it over the top? In the end, he just provided a simple catch to mid-wicket, and Fuller looks to the heavens, and he has to go. Now that is a huge blow. He goes for 1.
Yeah, he couldn't believe it, could he? I think that's is that Daniel Hughes in there or Danny Lamb? I think it's Danny Lamb who's taken the catch, but he couldn't believe it. He just looked as he twirled his bat around as if to say, what on earth have I done? Either way, James Cole's having a decent night, isn't he? He's picked up 3 wickets, top scored with 46. So you reckon it's down to these two, really, for Hampshire? Say that's not to disregard Messieurs Wood, Wheel and Turner. But,
well, let me tell you this. Liam Dawson walks to the crease with a strike rate of 214.
Wow.
This season. Now, again, he doesn't play big knocks because he comes in low down, but even so. And he's been scoring not just in T20 but in some championship matches where the games have gone quite deep. He's got some good runs right at the end. The last game against Kent smashed Nathan Gilchrist to get Hampshire over the line in what was a particularly tricky run chase, and in the end Hampshire coasted it. The 2 Sharks are reunited, the pink one and the blue one, just to
oh, there they are. Yes, they are. They're enjoying themselves. They're probably the way of the spectators, actually. But
yeah. Sit down. Here comes Coles. They can't sit down as Dawson works it away on the onside. He's off the mark straight away. He runs the first one quickly, but absolutely no chance of a second.
No.
138 for 6.
The Sussex ground fielding has actually been good, preventing that second run being taken. Good over this from Coles. Actually, I know he bowled the no ball.
Comes in again, low full toss, one away by Powell to backward a point. Now this will be, oh, he's over the rope for me. Pulling that back. That's Tom Clark.
Yes.
Anyway, nothing's going to be said because he's a long way away from the umpires, and there's no way, and everybody in the corporate tent's watching the footy, so they're not even out in the front anyway. 140 for 6 and 14 have gone.
And if you just join us, a very warm welcome to our cricket coverage here on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Solent, BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harms, Kevin James on the most glorious evening over. I say a glorious evening, it's quite cold if you're outside the commentary box, but the skies are clear. We just had the most beautiful sunset as well. Hampshire needing 61 more runs to win. They've got 6 overs in which to get them. The run rate required isn't too bad, 10.2 and over. The problem for Hampshire is they've only got 4 wickets left. Tamal Mills will bowl 2 of these remaining 6 overs, and the next one is going to be bowled by Ollie Robinson, who so far bowled 3 overs and no wicket for 26. He's going to be bowling to Liam Dawson. He's on 1, Benny Howell on 31. And we're really coming down to the wire to the... In comes Robinson. Bowls, hammered away. He looked to play their way over extra cover. He's picked up 1 as Dawson. The ball flew away down towards third man. Nonetheless, Dawson will pick up a couple of runs, looking to get onto the front foot. The Hawks to 142 for 6.
Yeah, he's looking at areas where there's gaps, and he'll back himself. And there is one sort of over mid-off, over extra cover. There is. That's an area we look for. He just got a thick outside edge.
Well, as I say, 10.1 and over at this stage is not the problem. The problem is the wickets for Hampshire. So in comes Robinson, bowls, and Dawson. It's a full toss, and he plays it straight to extra cover. Fielded there by Daniel Hughes, and there is no run. He might feel he missed out there, Liam Dawson.
Yeah, I think he's gone for placement there and just didn't get it right. Probably surprised that Ollie Robinson bowled him a full toss in the first place.
There's a bit of pressure around out there because Well, Sussex are in a good position in the group, but if they lose this, it'll be 2 on the trot, and you don't want to do that. As in comes Robinson, bowls to Dawson, and Dawson's beaten outside the off stump. Good delivery by Ollie Robinson. Dawson looking to hammer that one away through the offside. The ball rattled through into the gloves of John Simpson. Dot ball, good over so far from Robinson. Just the 2 runs off it.
You could tell Dawson wasn't really committed into that shot. I think he knew as that ball arrived it was a good delivery, good length.
Robinson turns in front of us, number 25 on the back of his blue shirt, comes into bowl to Liam Dawson. He's in full toss. Dawson drives the ball away through the offside. They're going to get 1. I don't think they'll come back for the second. Good bit of fielding out there by James Coles, racing around that cover boundary, gets in the throw and gets an appreciative clap from Ollie Robinson, who just says, calm down everybody. Dawson goes to 4, 143 for 6, 58 needed to win. Run rate goes up slightly to 10.9 and over. Certainly not panic stations yet for Hampshire. A couple of lusty blows. Robinson again. To bowl to Benny Howell. He's on 31. He's in and bowls. Full toss again, and Howell drives this one again straight to the fielder on the cover boundary. We've had 3 full tosses from Ollie Robinson in this over. Most unusual. Not a great throw, it has to be said, but well backed up by Tamal Mills.
Cool, that was drilled. Absolutely drilled out there, straight to the field, unfortunately for Howell.
144 for 6, 57 needed. The run rate just sneaked up a little bit, 11 and over. Robinson, the final ball of his 4 overs, runs into bowl to Liam Dawson. He's in, and Dawson, well, he just digs it out, and there could be a run out here, and there will be a run out. Well, that is crazy from a Hampshire point of view. And Benny Howell is run out, and that really is a gimme wicket as far as Sussex are concerned. Liam Dawson stopped the Yorker from Ollie Robinson. He couldn't see where the ball had gone. Benny Howell called him through. Dawson was, I don't quite what was happening, but Howell was absolutely level with him. The ball was thrown to the non-striker's end, and Benny Howell just walked off, and that's a massive blow for Hampshire.
Well, that was Howell's call.
Yeah.
I think by the time Dawson realised what had happened, I think he realised it was too late to actually run, and then Howell just kept going, and then that was it. Once they both were near each other, that was it, and they both gave up.
So the new man is Chris Wood, and end of Ollie Robinson's spell, and now there's still 2 overs to come from Tamal Mills, so you'd think from here that Sussex would be favourites. 11.5 needed and over. But Liam Dawson is still there, so don't give up, Hampshire supporters. You never know in this form of cricket. 57 needed off of 15.
So
off
Mills,
of 5, I'm sorry, what am I talking about?
Well, I'll take 15. Here comes Mills to Wood. Wood just helps that away on the leg side. We'll give Dawson the strike. It's all about Liam Dawson now.
Yeah.
From here on in.
I just wonder with that run out whether he might think to himself, right, it's on me now.
Well, Dawson would always do that. He's that sort of cricketer.
Yeah.
He'll actually relish this situation, and he'll actually kick himself if he doesn't get Hampshire over the line. He's 4 off 6, but this is mightily tough now because he's got to think about himself and think about the other guys at the other end now, because he's got to do a lot of their work. 145 for 7. We're in the 16th over here. As Mills down the hill again. Bowls Dawson, just guides that away on the offside for a single. Moves on to 5. Hampshire from here need 50 something. I can't see.
55.
55.
I just wondered, do you think the tactic here might be, see, well, Mills has got 2 to bowl, so they can't probably afford to let both of his overs go by without attacking, but if they could see Mills off, they might, if they can get the runs off the other 3 overs maybe.
Well, yeah, it's you've got to find a plan, that's for sure. Mills bowls to Wood. Wood hits that over the covers. That might go for 2, not quite. Didn't really get hold of it. Thought it might have gone more straighter than it actually did. Ball just sort of died as it hit the turf. He moves on to 2. 147 for 7.
And run rate sneaks up again. Just the effect of a ball and a single. The run rate now up to 12 and over. Not insurmountable, relatively short boundaries here at Hove.
Yeah. Well, Dawson's done this once or twice this season, and he needs to do it again. He Comes Mills again to Dawson, and length ball. Dawson goes over the top. Has he got enough on it? I'm not sure. And no, he hasn't. And he's caught at mid-on, and Dawson bangs his bat in frustration. And that is another wicket down, 8 down. Dawson goes for 5. And you do feel now that perhaps that is it from a Hampshire point of view.
Catch taken by Nathan McAndrew at mid-on. As I say, he didn't time it, Liam Dawson, and Nathan McAndrew is a tall man running around from mid-on. In the end, he took a comfortable catch. Hampshire 147 for 8. Jamal Mills continues his good form in the T20 this season. He's picked up a wicket tonight. That's 20 in the competition so far for the Sussex skipper. And the new man coming out is Brad Wheel. And Mills is at the end of his run. Three runs off the over so far. 2 balls remaining. The run rate is up to 12.5 and over. As Brad Wheel takes strike from umpire Ben Debenham. Jamal Mills juggles the ball from hand to hand. Wheel just has a little skip and a jump and waits as Jamal Mills is on his way from the Cromwell Road end, running down the slope here at Hove. He's in and bowls, and Wheel with a swing and a miss taken by John Simpson, and there is no run. That was quick from Jamal Mills. Brad Wheel looking to pull that one away on the leg side. Didn't make contact. Simpson takes.
Well, the lower order batters always make the bowlers look a little quicker.
Yeah, that's true. Run rate, say, just keeps skipping up and up. It goes to 13 and over, but Jamal Mills will only have 1 over left after this one. Excellent figures, 1 for 21 in his 2 overs and 5 balls. Mills is in. Bowls to Wheel, who looks to play that one down to third man. It's a slower delivery from Jamal Mills, clever bowling. End of the over, 147 for 8 are the Hampshire Hawks. So 4 overs remaining, 54 needed to win. Wood is on 2 and Wheel yet to score.
Yeah, a shame from a Hampshire point of view is they're only 4 runs behind Sussex at the same stage.
Yeah.
So that isn't the problem. It's just, unfortunately, all the wickets that have fallen so far. And
James Coles is going to bowl the next over from the C end of the ground. 3 overs, 3 for 29 for James Coles. I need to check whether they are best T20 figures. I think they probably aren't far off. But he's coming in to bowl to Chris Wood. He's in and bowls, and Wood plays this firmly down the ground, too long off, fielded away to our left by Ollie Robinson. Sussex will be quite happy to concede singles. Wood goes to 3, brings Brad Wheel on strike. So Robinson is bowled out. McAndrew has got 2 to bowl. Mills has got 1, which will probably see Sussex home. Coles in, bowls, and trying to play that one the offside was Brad Wheel. The ball just bounces down in front of him. There is no run. You'd have thought this might be the over, that Hampshire just might decide to go after the spinner. Coles in again, bowls, and Will hits this down the ground. Is it going to be caught? Ollie Robinson is underneath it. He's put it down. He's put it down, Ollie Robinson. He's furious with himself. Well, he got to the ball, and having got to the ball, he probably felt he should have caught it, but the chance goes begging, and Will gets a life before he'd scored a run. 149 for 8. Coles in again, bowls, hammered away onto the onside by Wood. It's just going to be a single though, filled up there by Tom Clark. 150 up for Hampshire, 150 for 8. But they still need another 51 to win, and after this there'll just be 3 overs remaining. Coles in again, bowls, pulled away, and he's going to be caught, pulled onto the onside. Underneath it is Tom Clark, who's got a very safe pair of hands. He takes the catch. It's another wicket for James Coles, which is 4 in the night for James Coles, and I'm sure that's his best T20 figures for James Coles. And Hampshire are 150 for 9. And lots of cheering going out on the pitch. I think England might have scored in the football, actually, judging by Tom Clark's reaction.
I was going to say, it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
It wasn't a worldie.
No, it wasn't.
That's for sure. He's taken 4 tonight, so he's... it's definitely his best figures.
Yeah.
2 for 36 was his best figures before tonight. And he's taken a quarter of his He's taken a third of his career T20 wickets tonight.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. And top scorer as well.
Man of the match.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, in comes Coles, final ball of his spell. He's in and bowls to the new man. He hits on the pad. Is John Turner. The ball bounce on the offside. Throw comes in, misses the stumps, and Hampshire going back for an overthrow. Total at the end of the over. Now the throw comes in, and James Cole's just saying steady on everybody. End of the over, 152 for 9. Wood is on 4, Turner is on 2. Hampshire needing another 49 to win, but it's going to take something heroic now with 3 overs remaining.
It certainly is. Even if Chris Wood was to get his career top score, and John Turner, well, I think could certainly go past his, because there's not very many. Even then Hampshire would be slightly short, so these two have got to do something that they've not done in this competition before.
Yeah.
All yours.
In comes Mills, I apologise, bowls to Wood, who clubs that down the ground for a boundary. Not too often Tamal Mills gets hit down the ground for 4 runs, but he does on this occasion. 156 for 8. For 9, I'm sorry.
Eased off now.
I need to concentrate on the cricket. 156 for 9. Wood on 8. Good shot, straight down the ground.
It was. It was a good shot.
45 needed to win. Off of 17 balls. Mr. Mel Mills is in and bowls. And we'll pause this one. Again, straight down the ground. They pick up a single. The throw comes in to the striker's end. And it's just a single. Wood goes to 9, 157 for 9. You just feel if someone could have stayed in early on, maybe a Vince or a Weatherly. I mean, James Fuller was a big wicket. Kevin, wasn't it? And he was so disappointed when he got out. Just pulling it straight to mid-wicket. And you say he changed his mind.
And 2 run-outs.
Yeah, yes.
Mix-ups.
And the McDermott run-out was costly right at the beginning as well. 12 Mills in his final over. Comes in from the Cromwell Road end, bowls and very quick down the leg side. Oh, it's going to be signalled a wide. That was sharp, and John Simpson took that sort of waist high going down the leg side. He gives umpire Deb, and that was quick, wasn't it?
I think John Turner enjoyed that too much.
No, I'm sure he didn't. But there's another delivery.
He could feel that ball going to hit his ribs.
Yes.
I think he was relieved when it missed.
Mills just pauses in this little skip and a jump as he starts his run down the hill from the Cromwell Road end. Bowls to Turner. He's in and bowls, and Turner flat bats that one away on the leg side down to fine leg where it's fielded by Ollie Robinson. One more to the total. 159 for 9. 42 needed to win, but there's only 15 balls remaining, and the run rate now up to 16.8 and over. Well, it's never done till it's done, but it would take something pretty heroic now for Hampshire to pull this one out the fire.
Turner has his high score in this competition, 3.
Does he?
No. So he's done his bit.
Maybe Chris Wood. Let's see, he's got to face Tamal Mills, which is never easy. Mills is in bowl. Oh, now that's going to be, I suspect that's going to be a free hit. I reckon that was over waist high. Let's wait and see what umpire Debenham decides. He's looking towards the square leg umpire, and indeed it is going to be a free hit.
Yeah. I think at that pace, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's fair enough. Yeah, 161 for 9, so 40 needed to win for Hampshire. Wood waits. And Tamal Mills is back to his mark. So a wide in this over, and now a no ball, and this is a free hit. Can Wood make the most of it? In comes Mills. Bowls, and that's going to be another wide outside of the off stump, and suddenly Sussex only going to move on here. Tamal Mills will probably be having a little look at the clock, because it'll mean if he gets to the closing over, Sussex might have to have 5 men inside the circle. What did that clock say? 21.50 is the cut-off. It's now 21.43, so they ought to be okay, but 162 for 9. As Mills is on his way again to bowl to Chris Wood, who's 9 not out in and bowls, and Wood pulls this one to the leg side, and he's going to pick up a single. There's a fielder on the mid-wicket boundary. Wood goes into double figures. He's on 10, 163 for 9. I've lost count of how many balls are in the over because we've had two wides and a no ball. 2, 3, 4. I think there's another ball to go in this over, which John Turner's got the rather dubious pleasure of facing Tamal Mills. Mills at the top of his run. Waits, and then, as I say, with this little hop and a skip, makes his way into bowl to the number 11, John Turner. He's in and bowls, and that's going to be another wide. So this is a very lengthy over from Tamal Mills. And those that are in the crowd are just saying, well, come on, what's going on? You would think, you'd never know, that it probably ought to be academic, but Tamal Mills will be disappointed with this over as he waits and comes in again.
If he isn't, he doesn't deserve to be a pro.
No, totally. In comes Tamal Mills, bowls, and Turner places firmly into the covers, fielded there by Daniel Hughes, and there is going to be another ball. So I thought that was the last ball of the over, but we've had 3 wides, we've had a no ball as well. 164 for 9. If Sussex were to win, it would be their 7th win in the competition, 7 out of 10. Generally 8 ought to get you to a quarter-final, but Sussex will be hoping for a home quarter-final if they can, and to pack out the county ground, which is always very welcome for counties in this competition, as Mills in again, round the wicket, coming into bowl to Turner. He's in and bowls, and Turner drives firmly to mid-off. There is no run. That is the end of Tamal Mills' over. The end of the 18th over, 164 for 9. So 37 needed to win for Hampshire in 2 overs and a run rate required of 18 and over.
I never thought that over was going to finish.
No, I know, it went on and on, didn't it?
Blimey.
Once, in fact, it was, what was that, 12 off of the over.
About nearly as many balls.
Yes. So, Danny Lamb is going to bowl the next over. Now, there is this sort of shortish side on the Clock Tower scoreboard side for Chris Wood to aim at. So can he make a name for himself? We shall see. Danny Lamb is going to bowl the next over. He's bowled. He is in his 3rd over, Danny Lamb. Picked up the important wicket of Vince. He's in and bowls and looking to drive that one a leg side. The ball ends up in the gloves of John Simpson, who fields the ball, gives it back to Danny Lamb. Sussex will just about make the cut-off, I think, here. Danny Lamb is running between deliveries. What happens here, for those who don't perhaps follow the game, is that an extra fielder has to come inside the circle, which theoretically makes it easier to hit boundaries. In comes Danny Lamb. Bowls, pulled away onto the onside by Chris Wood. He picks up a single, and they've decided not to take it, actually, which probably tells you that Chris Wood thinks if Hampshire are going to do something miraculous here, that he's going to be the man to do it.
Well, it's over 3 a ball now.
Yeah.
So...
yes, he's going to have to clear the fence, isn't he? In comes Lamb again. Bowls to Wood, and Wood pulls it on. Now they do take one. In fact, they're going to come back for a second, I think, as the throw comes in from Tom Clark. In fact, they have to stay where they are. So on that occasion, they did decide to take the single. Wood goes to 11 off 11 deliveries, 165 for 9. And from a Hampshire point of view, the game is almost up.
Well, it's a boundary ball now.
Yep, 164 for 9. John Turner takes guard. 3 balls left in the over, and Hampshire in desperate need of a couple of boundaries as Lamb is in. Bowls to Turner, right up in the block hole, and Turner, I think the ball comes off the pad and just trickles down to fine leg. Let's wait for the umpire's signal. Yes, indeed, it is signalled as a leg by. 166 for 9.
There's going to have to be a maximum in here somewhere now.
It is. I think that's 35 needed to win in just 7 balls, as Lamb is in again. Bowls and squirted away down to 3rd man for 4 runs by Chris Wood. Well, some low order defiance from Chris Wood. He picks up a boundary. He goes to 15, 170 for 9 are Hampshire, so 31 needed. In fact, there is another ball left in this over. I apologise, I thought we'd bowled 5. So 31 needed in 7 balls. Wood waits. Danny Lamb runs away from us. In and bowls. Full toss, pulled away. That's going to be 6, and I reckon that's going to be a free hit as well. It's pulled away for 6 by Chris Wood, and I think that was over waist high, and I think that's going to be a free hit.
Yeah, it is.
Let's wait for umpire Chantry's signal. And what it does mean as well is that Sussex are now going to be out of time. So I think they are definitely going to have one less fielder out. So 178 for 9. Well, we've got late drama here. A free hit. 20 England must have scored in the football. I think they have. There's a roar going up from the corporate hospitality area. As in comes Lamb, running away from us. Bowls, and Wood with a swing and a miss off of the free hit. That is the end of the over. 178 for 9. Wood on 21. Turner is on 3. 1 over to go and 25 needed to win.
I think they're going to be just all right. 21.50 is the cut-off. The scoreboard's showing 21.50, and the umpires are almost in place. I think they're going to let them off.
Yeah. Yes, I think perhaps they are. But Nathan McAndrew is going to bowl the last over. So, the music is thumping. The spectators that are here, and there aren't that many tonight, are waiting for this final over from Nathan McAndrew, who's going to be bowling from the Cromwell Road end of the ground. Lots of cheers. I'm not sure if the cheers are for the cricket or for the football, actually. I think they're probably for the football.
Maybe it's spilling over to the cricket now.
Yes.
The euphoria.
Well, yes, they have indeed. Ollie Watkins. There we are. In comes Nathan McAndrew, running in, down the hill, over the wicket, bowls. Oh, swing and a miss, the ball, if it hits the stumps, he's run out. He is run out. And Chris Wood is the man who's run out for 21. And Hampshire 176 all out. It means that Sussex win here by 24 runs. It means they've won 7 out of their 10 matches in the competition. And Sussex will feel that they're well on course for a place in the quarter-finals with 4 matches left to play. In terms of Hampshire, well, it's not all over for Hampshire, but they've got a lot to do. They've probably got to win their final 4 games, but a good performance from Sussex. James Cole's very much the star man, top scoring with 46 and picking up 4 wickets as well. And Sussex, in the end, going through to what was a comfortable victory eventually.
Yeah, best side on the night. 2 points away from Surrey now. Everybody's played 10 games. These